2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. You could turn $10 into $250. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/fan and use code FAN. That's code FAN at prizepicks.com/fan. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
What's up, Panther fans? It's your boy, Tony Dunn, a.k.a. The Professor. Oh, it's a host says, muted my mic. Can you hear me?
No, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay. I just got a little pop-up that said the host muted your mic on your startup, and I was like, dang.
Well, yeah, because it has a double sound effect when you don't. So.
The double.
Yeah,
right.
trying to be a good producer.
About that. You got to tell me about that. I can turn that shit off. Welcome to the C3 Panthers podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Every Tuesday night, we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. Tony Dunn here, hanging out with Cody Lashney, the producer that knows what's going on, and the guy on the other end of the mic who doesn't.
Listen, man, the Panthers drafted their red and blue 1-2 punch in the form of Ickey, Ekwonu, and Matt Corral. And listen, I've had some time to digest those picks or draft as a whole, think about what I think about these players long-term, what kind of upside the Carolina Panthers has, who might be the starter for the Carolina Panthers in 2022. A lot of optimism around Matt Corral. We're going to have a fantastic show tonight. And you know we're going to do it with the best Panther fans in all of YouTube. You already know them. I love them. It's Alex McKenzie, our man Drew, Alex Stark, ATX19, Blake Bettis, Joey the Blind Panther, Ken LED, Lawrence Trevette, Panther Pickle, Panther Randy 81, Sideshow Bob, Poppin' Bullets, Tim Estes, Tony Dunn, and nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
Tonight's show is the 2022 Carolina Panthers NFL Draft Recap. We'll go through the picks from top-notch Ikem, Ekwonu, all the way down to the undrafted free agents. There's some cool warrior, like Rambo-type people up in that list. We'll be grading or looking at some of the press's grades of Matt Corral, and also Greg Olson talking about the chaos that's been thrown into college football with the name and image and likeness. I got a little bit to say about that. You can be a part of the show at 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. We'd like to hear what you want to talk about. How did you feel about the draft? Where did the Panthers, what would you grade them? Has this restored a little confidence in the front office? Is this Fitterer show, or is Matt Rhule also deserving of some forgiveness? I'd like to hear your thoughts on that, folks. Welcome to the show, CK.
Hey, I'm happy to be here. Happy to, come off of a draft that I felt like we, come away with some optimism. Still some question marks, but I'm super excited to talk about it with you guys. Get not only your opinions, but the opinions of the people here in the chat room, because I think there's going to be a wide variety of opinions about just that question of where Matt Rhule falls on the level of blame or appreciation about how this draft landed.
Greg in the house. What's up, my man?
Oh, not a whole lot, man. Just hanging out. It's been a really, really awesome week, and the rest of it looks pretty good too. I mean, we had an awesome draft. I got a couple of great finales for shows this week. Multiverse of Madness Thursday, dude. It's all coming up Millhouse. I'm ready to talk about Carolina Panthers football. And the best part about this is we've been talking for weeks and weeks and weeks about what's going to happen, what's going to happen, what's going to happen. Today, the narrative changes. Because no matter what you think about it, it happened, and now we get to talk about that instead of
now we get to talk about actual events.
Yes.
So I want to ask the chat room real quick for a favor. I'd like for them to submit some of. I see Golden Corral needs 4. I want to submit Matt Corral nicknames, and then maybe in about 5 or 10 minutes, I'll have Cody put up a poll on some of the top candidates. I saw some as Golden Corral's floating out there, Matt the Magician, Cold-Blooded Corral, and on top of that, someone suggested on Twitter Matty Ice, and everybody, and I saw Mal Mayock go no.
Yeah.
So, I thought that was funny. All right,
not be a good idea.
Smash thumbs up, subscribe. Let's go ahead and jump into the show. Cody, the draft has happened. Your weekend of glory has come and gone. Now it's time to start all over again in some ways for you draft nerds. But the Panthers put together what a lot of people around the league are grading out as a very good draft. So what are your thoughts coming back from by the end of the weekend?
Well, Tony, I honestly believe that Scott Fitterer is doing everything in his power to make the Carolina Panthers a legitimate contender. I mean, if you look at most metrics, they will tell you that the Panthers had one of the best drafts in the NFL this year. And this is not through one publication. This is through a multiple different different averages and people breaking down PFF, ESPN. I mean, for the most part, the media at large loved the Carolina Panthers draft this year. And I think Scott Fitterer has done an incredible job. On top of that, I think that there's something that I've uncovered about Ben McAdoo and his offense and the way that he's looking at football. And it's part of the reasons why I'm so pumped after I've had some time to think about this draft, Tony Dunn. We want to punch fools in their mouth. We want to get aggressive. Both of our first and second round picks, they quite literally have a history of getting into fights, more or less, right? Ikem Ekwonu will throw people around, put them into the dirt. I love what we did with him in the first round this year. Since we're going to start at that first pick, Ikem Ekwonu, I want to pose a question to you all, and I want to pose a question to everyone, in the chat room here. Where do you think Ikem Ekwonu is going to end up on this offensive line? Do you believe that? Question. Yeah. Do you think that they want to put him at left tackle, or do you think they'd rather play him at left guard? Me personally, I'm a proponent of putting him at guard. I think you're going to be able to use him on pull blocks, get him downfield, make him bulldoze some running lanes for Christian McCaffrey to be able to, head downfield. I think that would be the best move. But listen, I don't feel strongly one way or another. I feel like he could be a day one starter at left tackle as well, just because he has that kind of physical upside, talent, and potential.
I'm just, here's my thought on it. I am so tired of having to have a discussion about the left tackle. I just want him at left tackle. I just want that to be shored up, because I'll be honest with you. I can tell you that I have yet to say, my gosh, our offensive line really sucks because of our left guard, right? It's not helping, but our offensive line 9 times out of 10 really sucks because of our left tackle. Like it's just the reality of that, I guess that position. And I think he could do well at guard, but I'm just ready to have that franchise left tackle, and then we can shore up the middle. I like at this point in time, if we can keep those tackles taken care of, I want that to be the maintain that.
I 1000% agree with you, dude. 1000% agree with you. Like for all the exact same reasons. And you know, it's like you said, Brady Christian's, I guess, the other option. We know he may be able to play left tackle well, but we know this guy can. So just give Brady Christian a spot on the guts guard and put him at tackle. I agree with you 100%.
It's a really high pick for him to play guard, right? I mean, I think they picked him with the vision that he was a tackle, not that
Quentin Nelson was number 3.
Yeah, but I think this is that they picked him knowing that he'd be an all-pro guard, but they also picked him because they're really believing and hoping he can be an all-pro tackle. So that is their vision for him, is like 5 years on the left side. Let's get that 5th-year option on the top-rated tackle. He compares himself, his game, to Trent Williams.
Right.
And that's pretty awesome left tackle material. We'll point out this. I think Jordan Gross started a year at left guard and then moved to tackle. I'm not 100% sure on that. Chat will be able to know that. But I think he's going to be in the long-term left tackle. But even if he's not this year, if he just plays 1 year at guard, and you need to see, at least in a couple of games, if Christianson can play left tackle, maybe you're trying to evaluate Christianson. Maybe just let him have an honest competition in camp. I think that Brady Christianson would probably, his floor would be higher at left tackle than his ceiling would be at left guard. So I think Christianson just tends to play left tackle better than he plays guard. And Ekwonu could probably play both of them better than him. So I don't think we're going to be really crying about it if he's at left. I don't even know if you need to overthink it, like what Cody is saying, like CK is saying and Greg's saying, is maybe you don't overthink it. You just say this: Brady Christianson, if you can't play guard, then we're going to get somebody who can.
Right.
So this is a pick, right, that a lot of people throughout consensus that he's like one of the best picks in the draft. A lot of people will come on and say he's the number 1 overall prospect in their mind. So the one thing that stuck out to me after the announcement, when they called him, the way the call went, I wish I would have pulled it up before the show, is it started with David Tepper. Then they handed the phone to Rhule, and then Rhule, and then Fitterer was last. But there was a common thread in their tone and the reaction from all 3 guys, and it was like an over enthusiastic surprise of happiness from all 3 of them. It was almost like awkward, like too much. And like, oh my God, I am so excited. I cannot believe you're here. Like, man, they were like over the moon. And that tells me that this is a great fit. Like he's like, yeah, I'm happy to come hang out with y'all.
And look, something else that we have to mention too. Ikem Ekwonu is a Panthers fan. This man is from Charlotte. He was in the end zone or behind the end zone when the Panthers played the Cardinals in the NFC Championship game. I'll pull him up here in a minute, but there's pictures of him and his mom and his brother at Panthers games. I mean, this dude is a Panther. I mean, quite simply, he is a Panther. He's so aggressive, man. When you watch this film, when this guy gets his hands on you, he is an absolute juggernaut, man. He's trying to put you in the dirt, do you dirty. He's on some real Steve Smith type shit, okay? That's what that Ikem Ekwonu is on. And let's be real, man. That's what the Panthers' offensive line has been missing for a long time now. My question is listen, like I said, I don't want to make too much of a big deal out of it. I do think that in today's NFL, that your interior line is just as important as any other, part of your offensive line, because it provides the pocket for your quarterback to be able to step up into. That being said, if you did put Ikem Ekwonu at left tackle, who do you think is more likely to play left guard? Brady Christianson or Deontay Brown? Because in my opinion, at this point, I kind of think Deontay Brown might be looking like the odd man out.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a hard question. I mean, it's just like, who is the starter? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that? I don't think you're gonna know. I think that right now is when you say the odd man out, do you mean not starting, or do you mean not on the team?
Yeah, well, I mean, not starting. I mean, because we have Corbett, we have Bozeman, we have Moton. I mean, there's only so many lines that you can play. Are we looking at potentially Ekwonu at left tackle and Deontay Brown at Ekwonu at left tackle and Brown at left guard, or Brady Christianson at left guard? Because let me tell you, man, if Deontay Brown is able to take that next step and become the bulldozer that he really was at Alabama, I'm telling you, man, those two maulers right next to each other could give the Panthers one of the most dominant left side offensive lines in the NFL.
Go ahead, CK.
Yeah, I mean, I think unfortunately it just doesn't feel like they're giving Deontay Brown the shot, right? I know that there was some health concerns and whatnot, last year, but I just, it does feel like oddly like they're just not really sold on Deontay Brown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think too is one of the draft picks was Cade Mays, right? Is that his name?
Yeah.
And a lot of people say he plays with that mean, nasty style, like throwing people and tossing people. So this is actually becoming a mean offensive line. It feels like. So interesting stuff there.
Super athletic as well. I mean, these big boys can move. People forget Brady Christianson was one of the highest rated physically performing left tackles at the combine in history. Ikem Ekwonu had a freak show combine. I mean, these guys are premier athletes at the offensive line position. So, again, I like the aggression. I love the fighting attitude, man. When you watch this guy on film, he finishes his opponents. I mean, this guy is an absolute mauler. Our offensive line has been in desperate need of this kind of player.
He could. I was reading an article where, in theory, like it's not unheard of now in this NFL for offensive linemen to win the Rookie of the Year, like offensive Rookie of the Year. I think Rashawn Slater. So that's the type of player you're getting, and I think you're going to be able to fill that left guard just fine. When it comes to, like you said, pairing those two big boys together, man, that could be a mean front. I want to come back and circle back to something that you said, though, about the interior being more important in the NFL and creating that pocket than it used to be in the past. And I don't know if I would say it's more important. What I would just argue is that, like, the athleticism of people that are playing on the other side of the line has improved so much. Right. So is that you used to just have this super athletic dude, like this big athletic guy on the outside. So you had to have athletic tackles that could keep up with it. Now you're having defensive tackles that are running 4.5s and stuff like that. And like you're saying, you're getting freak shows on the other side. So it just turns out that like the entire line has to have those elite traits, or else it doesn't really work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're only as strong as your weakest link. Is this Ikem Ekwonu? Which one is he wearing? Please don't tell me he's wearing the jersey.
No. He's wearing that Luke Kuechly, man. That 59.
Who's he with? Is that his brother or something? Man?
That's his twin brother in the 13.
Okay.
Yeah, that's his twin brother. I did my research, and this is from 2016 game it's week 8 against the Cardinals as well. So he seems to really enjoy the Cardinals games.
Nice.
We won that game 20-30. Kelvin Benjamin had 2 receptions for like 49 yards. It was a mundane game from a stats perspective, but it was a game we won. So anyway, not that was super important.
Do we play the Cardinals this year?
I don't know.
I think
that's a good question.
We better beat them then.
Well, hopefully we play them before DeAndre Hopkins come back from his suspension.
Dude, DeAndre, that's crazy.
Oh, man. That's right. I see somebody say that, and DeAndre on the PEDs. Let's move on to our second pick, and
probably the most probably. I would say this is probably the one that's caused the most conversation.
Well, yeah, it's at the most important position on the team, right? And right. I tell you that it was a emotional journey from number 6 pick to our second pick, which is the third round in Matt Corral, right? And this emotional roller coaster for me was crazy because there was a very real conversation going along, at least in the media and on this show, because we are just reading and talking about the things that people read and talk about, is that Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, and even Matt Corral are kind of where maybe even play in the first round.
Right.
For even at number 6, we're arguing Malik Willis. So all of a sudden the draft falls. We get Ikem Ekwonu. It's the least controversial pick probably in the last decade for the Carolina Panthers. And then on top of that, you see this continued slide. You get to Pittsburgh. You can go back and watch the draft show, and everybody's like, no way Malik Willis makes it past this. And then they pick Kenny Pickett. And then it goes, wow, the cost of trading in for the next quarterback just went down a lot more than we had expected it would be at that time. So for the next day, the question are on Panthers Twitter, Panthers anywhere, in any bar and whatever, was, are the Carolina Panthers going to trade up? And the following day, the picks continue to come out, and there is no quarterbacks. And the price gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper throughout. This was Friday night. I want to say around 8 o'clock. So the draft had been going for a while. Around 8 o'clock, these guys are still on the board. We're in the 3rd round. And you're going, oh, man, now it's like really reasonable to go get Malik Willis.
Mm-hmm.
And this chatter emerges about Baker Mayfield throughout this. Right. The Baker Mayfield conversation was real. And so I did these shorts on that night. And the part that I'm just trying to get to is that this entire roller coaster was interrupted. Like, have you ever been at a theme park and you're getting on the ride and then they shut it down and you got to wait for them to change, if somebody threw up on the car in front of you or something to that effect? The Baker Mayfield shut the roller coaster down, but you were still in it, so it was nerve-wracking. You're watching the picks go by, and then the Baker Mayfield stuff goes. The Panthers move. The Tennessee Titans pick Malik Willis. The Panthers shortly thereafter move up and select Matt Corral. That's the best I can describe the events, Cody.
Add a little context, the Falcons drafted Desmond Ridder, first in the second round
before Malik.
Yeah, that's right.
Before Malik Willis. So, and then the Tennessee Titans, they traded up to get Malik Willis. So Scott Fitterer said that they didn't want to be, basically kind of up a creek without a paddle and not have the type of quarterback competition that they want this year. So that prompted them to trade up with the Patriots into the second round to get the Panthers' future franchise quarterback. His name is Matt Corral. He wears number 2 for Ole Miss, and I'm here to tell you that this dude has legitimate talent. He plays like Josh Allen. He may not have the body and the frame of Josh Allen, but this man maneuvers well inside the pocket. He has an arm to be able to push the football downfield. One of the things that you'll be able to notice about him is he has one of the tightest, most compact throwing motions that you'll ever see a quarterback have. It allows him to be able to get zip on the football and really push that football downfield. Now, a lot of people were complaining about his size and saying that, well, he might be undersized to play the position. Well, the dude is 6'1" and 5'8" and has a 74-inch wingspan, 212 pounds. While that might not be the biggest quarterback prospect, he has a frame that's bigger than, frankly, Russell Wilson and Drew Brees when they were coming out of college. So I love this pick. Tony, if Matt Corral goes on to be a franchise quarterback, then the story of him kicking Wayne Gretzky's son's ass is going to be the mythological stuff of legends, Tony. I love that shit, dude. The Panthers picked a bunch of fighters, and together with Ikem Ekwonu, Matt Corral is coming to knock people unconscious.
If he does go on to be a very, say, all-star Pro Bowl quarterback, can we call him the Great One? Since he beat up Wayne Gretzky's kid. Now I'm telling you, Wayne Gretzky has records that are more dominant than even Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to shit on Wayne Gretzky, but we got to find some way to link his nickname to that story somehow. Right. So now I want to talk a little bit about Matt Corral and this. And the one thing is, a lot of people actually gave us a ton of credit for this pick. If you look throughout the I'm trying to see here. I got this. I think it's this pick that started us. This is some. Who sent this? Somebody tagged me in this. I think it was Rich Kingston that tagged me in this. Draft capital used over expected, I guess draft position, and the Panthers have up here in one of the top drafts. Now, there's been a consensus, at least in many of the things that I've read, that Baltimore had the best draft. Right? I've heard a lot of people talking about that they just
got a lot of first round quality talent. It felt like,
yeah. And if you look at this graph right here, this puts us on their plane, right? And KC had 3 first-round picks or some crazy mess like that almost. It was wild. So the Panthers, to be able to do that without a second-round pick, I think says a lot about the Matt Corral pick and those back-end picks. When it comes to Matt Corral's size, I think it is, like Cody saying, largely overrated about how big he is. I wanted to ask, how old is he, Cody?
I'll look that up.
So, you grow into your body, your adult body, particularly if you want a quarterback to play for the next 18 years. His physique is going to mature. I think that his running, a lot of people are worried that his aggressive play, right, that kind of wants to win. 23. So he can still, he's still got some.
Is he the same age as Sam Darnold?
I think so.
Yeah,
Darnold might be 24.
Something like that, yeah.
Darnold came out so young.
He was in the same high school class as Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. They were in the same Elite 11 competitions. And it's going to be interesting when we're talking about who the starter is going to be, right? And even though none of us are expecting him to be the starter, especially if you're listening to our coaches, I mean, this guy has been going through quarterback camps since he was in high school, where they have been going through pro style passing concepts that they're going to be able to see in the NFL. I really, think that that's part of the reason. And Tony, I've said this a bunch of times. Quarterbacks and wide receivers, because of these camps, they're coming into the NFL more prepared than they ever have before. So it's going to be interesting to see how ready he is to potentially help us.
I want to talk about 2 points on that. Is the readiness, the QB readiness. Is that this is one of the things that was continued to be talked about with Malik Willis, but also has been shifted because I'm reading about Matt Corral now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not reading about Malik Willis anymore. So they're probably saying the same mess about him still. But with Matt Corral now, the big kind of knock or conversation has been the offense he played in college and Lane Kiffin making such a speed one read option where it is so designed. Right, as I heard somebody. I was listening to WFNZ, the Mac Attack, their podcast. Well, they do a radio show, but
right.
And they were talking to a guy evaluating Matt Corral. They were talking about watching highlights where you could see Lane Kiffin before the ball was thrown with his arms up celebrating because he already knew that it was the right play at the right read and the right moment. And it's so simplified. Now, on top of that, you got to wonder about that dang Wonderlic score. I'm telling you, it was crazy.
What was this Wonderlic?
15.
Didn't somebody say that he had an excuse? He just didn't try.
I will not buy that. And now, if that's the case, I do not believe that for 1 second. Not 1 second. That to play quarterback in the NFL, right? Like in your in a draft class where that was already projected as weak, you have to show you're leaving money on the table if you didn't try. You know what I'm saying? Is like, Maurice Claiborne said he didn't try. He scored a 6. He had like the lowest one in history. But this is a Des Bryant score. This is a not that I just was looking up and I couldn't only find but so many dang scores to compare him to. Somebody told me it was like a Vince Young score. I don't even care who you compare it to. It was the lowest out of the group. So if the criticism is he's underdeveloped, and that's where he's going to have to, like, the big challenge for him too, beyond is kind of consuming a more complicated game. That score does not lend to him being able to do it well.
Right.
Or that being the easiest part of the transition. Now, I don't really care. I'm not going to speculate, as sometimes people probably can play football like crazy, but they might not be able to solve. I can't solve this damn Rubik's Cube. So these tests are just one aspect of measurement. Now, the other thing, though, is that when you talk about him is that he plays kind of, I won't say recklessly, because you start to think he throws the ball recklessly, but aggressive. He plays aggressively on the ground. And so then the other question mark is, because he has a slider build, is that part of his game going to be a detriment or a benefit? Cody, and you guys, I'll open it up to you. That's the kind of two things about his play style that I've read and thought about. How do you want to add or respond?
So I think ultimately it'll be a blessing. I mean, I would prefer him have the arm talent and maybe, miss a few throws versus him not being able to push the ball downfield. Real quick, I wanted to play this very short clip that I put out on Twitter a few days ago. And I think that even though it was something that was said about him in high school, it's still kind of a true comparison about his game right now. Keep in mind, he had a bunch of different coaching staffs at Ole Miss. He's transferred a bunch. So, I mean, he's grown as a prospect. But listen to some of the comparisons that are made about Matt Corral and ultimately what they think about him and what they have to say about him. Wait, shit, wrong one. Hold on, cover me.
So it'll be interesting. Then the next question is, are these guys going to compete? Is he going to compete to start this year?
Okay, here we go.
Oh, I like this video.
Poly. Matthew Corral at Long Beach Poly. He might have the strongest arm we've had in this camp since Matthew Stafford. Stafford over the middle. Caught.
You watched the tape, and I thought Brett Favre type playmaker. Incredible spatial awareness, like his ability to have people close to him and kind of wiggle out of stuff or spin out of stuff. It's splash reel after splash reel watching his tape.
Right now, he throws the ball one tempo, and that is heat. The challenge is going to be to get him to throw different type of passes. Customer service. Not everybody ordered their plate with hot sauce.
It's a blessing to get the knowledge from these coaches and for them to pass down everything that they have.
Go. That was a good job.
Nice.
So there's Matt Corral, man. I mean, you hear some of the things that they say about him, that he has some of the best arm talent that they've ever witnessed, comparable to Brett Favre and Matthew Stafford. I mean, he has real, legitimate arm talent. And they said that he just needs to pull back on some of the power sometimes. This is why I said Josh Allen was actually a good comparison. Even though they have very different bodies and very different frames, sometimes when you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And it's learning how to take some of that steam off your passes, throw with touch. And that's something that you did see him do on film. I don't want to make people believe that it's something that he can't do. He just needs to get in a rhythm and, more importantly, get in an offense that's going to continue to cater to his needs and cater to his further development. And personally, when you think about our quarterback coach that we have right now, Sean Ryan, who was once upon a time Deshaun Watson's quarterback coach, I think he is the perfect mold of clay to get your hands on for a young quarterback to be able to bet on into the future.
Yeah.
You're muted, Tony.
Was he also Stafford's quarterback coach at one point? I feel like for some reason that name sounds familiar with. Remember, because there was two quarterbacks that he had when they brought him in that I remember. It was Deshaun Watson. There was somebody else, and I want to say it was Matt Stafford. The thing going on is that there's kind of a juxtaposition. Crazy people either think Matt Corral could go stratosphere level, or they think he's destined to become a backup. I haven't heard a lot of in between. And here are the two things. I'm going to pull down the comments for just 1 second. If you look at this is I looked up grading Matt Corral. And these are the two back-to-back descriptions of it. And I thought it was funny. NFL.com said Carolina traded second round to pick to the Jets for Sam Darnold, a move that hasn't worked out for the Panthers thus far. It's a third round pick, blah, blah, blah. But they sent a where does it get to? Fourth round. While off-field concerns may have contributed to Corral's fall in draft, he's a potential future starter with a quick release and movement skills. So he has movement skills. Then this is the one right below it. They grade him as a B. The next one's also a B from CBS Sports. Good value for Carolina. Ball placement issues were a major concern. This was funny to me right here. He's not quite the athlete to be able to win as an improviser in the NFL, but the raw talent is there, and the Panthers need to address the QB spot. I thought, Cody, that this was a terrible description of what I've seen from Matt Corral, is that it seems like to me that his mobility could very well be a great asset in the NFL in extending plays. I don't think you need to use them a ton in RPO fashion, and maybe in selected spots where you set it up like a chess match, but you're not going to build a game around that, a game plan for him. But I think it's his actual ability to maybe get outside the pocket some and use his legs to create some additional time, that could be a great asset. Patrick Mahomes does this a lot. A lot of the great quarterbacks have this ability to extend the play, and it's his mobility. So what are they even talking about there?
I mean, listen, you can go online and listen to someone have two exact opposite takes about the same player. I mean, it's really like people are watching different film. CBS, like Off of Grid said, they were really hard on us. They wanted us to take Sam Howell. Listen, that is BS and nonsense. Let me tell you a little bit about Matt Corral. And you even brought this up. His mobility and ability to make throws outside the pocket, frankly, was probably the best in this draft. I mean, Malik Willis had some really big-time splash plays outside the pocket, but Matt Corral keeps his eyes downfield, is always looking to make a play, and yes, he is a threat in the red zone to be able to run the football. The trade-off that Matt Corral is going to have to take and make is that he doesn't have that 240-pound Cam Newton type of body. So he's going to have to learn how to protect himself and slide and get down before contact comes his way if he's going to continue to be successful in the NFL. On top of that, though, Tony, if you look at him, there is no reason why he shouldn't be viewed as a potential game-changing franchise quarterback. The arm talent is there. He's scrappy. He beat the hell out of Wayne Gretzky's stuck-up-ass son. And you know he deserved it, by the way, because you just know that he does. And by the way, also think about it. This dude is a quarterback. Throwing a punch is very similar to the motion of throwing a football. I bet Matt Corral could knock the shit out of some fools, dude.
I wouldn't go that far. I'm not ready to all of a sudden pick him in our player that I want to recruit to have in a fight.
I'm just saying, I bet my
man is. It is better to beat Wayne Gretzky's kid's ass than have your ass beat by Wayne Gretzky's kid.
Oh, so sure.
We'll give him that. The quick release is look. Chris Sims had him rated as his number one quarterback. The ultimate knock on him only has been out of the system that he's come in, and that they believe that is so one read that there's a curiosity if that will be able to translate to the NFL. As we've been talking about for the past month or so, like every dang quarterback has that question looming over them. Yep. It seems like in college. They're like, so I think also that tight release, like you're saying right there, actually gives you more time, right? You don't need these giant pockets to throw the ball. And mobility can help you. Just you don't have to RPO it. You know, I mean, like it's just to if the D end is chasing you to get one more second, I think is a very helpful thing. Now in college, though, he was out there running the ball like crazy.
Yeah, you sure you don't want to pick him in your fight?
Oh,
are you sure? Because my man is willing to throw down with you, bro.
Maybe you're right.
My man's willing to throw hands, dude.
I think I'm buying his jersey. I think I'm gonna buy his jersey.
I do want to point out. I do want to point out he's fighting there, but look at the score. They are getting their asses whooped.
And listen, the fact that this man is a fighter, man, and that's why I led off with that with Ikem Ekwonu and Matt Corral being like an example of the Panthers being a scrappy, tough, in your face, punch you in the mouth football team, man. And this dude ain't afraid of no one. Like, dude, I'm telling you, I love it. And I like the fact that he has a chip on his shoulder, Tony. He isn't that 6'5", 245-pound guy. He didn't go top 10. He fell to the second round. Now he has a chip on his shoulder, and all of his goals are right in front of him, because the only person stopping him from being a starting NFL quarterback is Sam Darnold. That's it. I'm pulling for this, man, dude. This is exactly what I feel like Panther fans needed to get their energy pumped back up and being ready for this next season, man.
There's one other thing that's going well for him, and that's Bob McAdoo seemingly had. I heard that Fitterer referenced that McAdoo had a lot to do with this selection.
Oh, yeah. And that's something else that we need to get. Tony, didn't we both say that Ben McAdoo, we were happy that this guy was in our draft room because he was going to make decisions like this?
Right.
Apparently, he was Ben McAdoo's number one quarterback. I know that he was Chris Sims' number one quarterback, and that guy has been really accurate on his quarterback predictions the past few years in a row. Yeah, man, I think we may have gotten the steal of the draft, especially if he ends up being a franchise quarterback.
Tim Jenkins also, we know he has pretty good valuations of these guys. He had him as his top quarterback as well, which I think is, and he had Malik pretty close to the bottom, which you could take that with a grain of salt, if you will.
That is fair too. Like, I mean, you don't have to. Malik doesn't have to be everybody's golden boy.
No. I mean, the thing is, at this point in time, is Matt Corral, we talked about it on the Saturday sit-in, if you will. Like, Matt should have been. This isn't the best possible way this could have happened. It sucks because he loses income by being drafted in the third, but the reality is he doesn't have the pressure of a first-round draft pick. He doesn't have the pressure of somebody trading up to get him in the second round, right? And we gave up peanuts to get into the third to be able to draft him, right? Listen, he's not coming in here with the expectation he is going to be the franchise guy immediately, right? Is that something that we all hope will happen eventually? Yeah, but it took Josh Allen a while to get the hang of it. I mean, even Lamar Jackson sat behind Flacco for a year, right? While being introduced a little bit to the offenses, right? You look at the best quarterbacks in the league have not been starting quarterbacks when they first came out in the league yet. I mean, in the league currently, like the people you would consider the top people, other than maybe a Kyler Murray, or even a Deshaun Watson, which I think Deshaun might have even not been a starting quarterback when he started.
They didn't intend him to be, but he ended up being anyway. Same as Justin Herbert. And again, those guys are exceptions to the rule,
Well, that raises the question for me right there. Does he take the starting position because of how impressive he is, how much more impressive he is in training camp than Sam Darnold, or do we have to see Sam Darnold fall?
I think we have to see Sam Darnold fall.
So So basically, then he thinks Sam Darnold's going to start, and he just has to really fall on his face before they're like, all right.
Yeah, I think that Sam Darnold has always seemed to be a very good camp performer, right? He's always been able to. I felt like last year they were saying like, oh, he did a very good job. Like, I mean, they were just like praising his ability to read the defenses and stuff like that. And then it changes when it becomes a real game. Because I think the problem with Sam Darnold has been and always will be at this point in time, because I've seen no evidence to prove otherwise, has been mental. There has not been anything physical about his game that has prevented him from being successful. It has all been mental. And so I think when you're in training camp, mental comes a lot easier than when it does after you get out there and actually play really valuable NFL games.
That's a really, really good point. Yeah, I always shoot better at the driving range than I do in the actual golf course.
I love this comment. I love this comment by JD54. I see my quarterback out there throwing hands. I'm right there with him. Again, how do you not love that, man? It's like this dude. And listen, I want to turn this back on CK and Greg. Like, what do you guys think of Matt Corral? Do you think that the Panthers scooped up a franchise quarterback here? Did we pick up the legend who beat the hell out of Wayne Gretzky's son? What are we feeling?
I'll tell you my answer real quick because it's going to be pretty quick. I don't know. Like, I have really low expectations, right, at this point in time. He was drafted in the third, right? It wasn't like people were, mooning over this guy. I'm optimistic based on the fact that we, seem to have really felt like, when you saw that draft room, they really did not expect Matt Corral to be there, which is why I think the Baker Mayfield conversation even came into play, right? I don't know that he was the guy for the entire time. Like, I don't know that he was the guy they were going for. But I think that Matt Corral has potential to surprise all of us.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on that too. I don't know enough about him to be pessimistic about it, but I also can't really be super optimistic about it. What I truly want is if he's going to be the quarterback from like game 2 on, I want him to be there the whole season under center
Right.
the whole season. I want consistency. Just give me consistency the first year. If they put you in game 4, the rest of the season, I want to see you taking snaps, behind center. So that's what I really, truly want. I don't want to ask for wins or anything else like that. I just want to see, hard work and you playing, because it's been a carousel of quarterbacks for years in the Carolinas, and I hate it. It's so irritating. Can't buy a jersey.
I tell you one thing about Matt Corral is he's going to be one of the more popular people in Charlotte and North and South of Carolina until he starts, right? Like from now to the moment he actually starts a football game, he will be one of the more popular names and people to talk about in Charlotte and Carolina sports than anybody. He has an opportunity to become the most popular person in Panther Nation if when he does take a start, impress. The thing is that he has something going for him right now, and it also is adding to the pressure of the pick, and that is no one believes in Sam Darnold. The coaching staff barely does. The Carolina Panther fans have made him a whipping boy. I've said I think they made it that he has been a patsy and sort of a scapegoat in some ways. He could be very much better next year behind a much more improved line. But the problem with Sam Darnold is when things start going bad, he just panics like crazy. It's just like you do not want him on the boat if you start taking on water, because he's just going to melt down. But Corral is, everybody's just going to be like, put in Corral. Corral. Like, I mean, it is. So he is going to be super popular. But if he comes in and he's really good too, oh my God, imagine the stratosphere he would just go to.
And by the way, that's not even outside the realm of possibility, y'all. If this offensive line takes the next step and becomes as good as we believe it has the potential to be, and you have Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore, and Christian McCaffrey's coming back healthy, and you have a second-year Terrace Marshall Jr., a second-year Shi Smith, a second-year Tommy Tremble. Like, dude, it's not outside the realm of possibility that Matt Corral could actually be dropped into this offense and be a good quarterback sooner than expected. My question to all of you and to everyone in the chat room is, if Sam Darnold starts to suck and people do start to call for Matt Corral, what is your worry and your anxiety level that we could potentially ruin Matt Corral and his trajectory by playing him too early? I don't personally adhere to that bullshit. I think you play them, let them take their licks. If they're a badass, and they'll come back and they'll be better next year when you build up the team. Look at all the quarterbacks last year, like Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields and Zach Wilson. Look how highly touted they were, and none of them had special rookie seasons in the NFL. I think you just have to take your licks sometimes. But are any of you afraid that we could potentially ruin him?
No,
not at all. I mean, the thing is, worst case scenario, if you did, then you just have a Sam Darnold. We're already there. So
yeah, and he's a 3rd round pick. Is that we're just really hype on him right now because we don't have a quarterback.
Honestly,
and like it's not that he's a number 1 pick, and then you're going to put him on a team that has no weapons and no offensive line, and you're really worried about getting him killed. You're not really, like, it's not a lot on the line for Carolina.
Honestly, I think it could cause more harm than good to not put him out there if Sam Darnold is really that bad. Like, if Sam Darnold is going out there and he is sucking it up and they aren't putting Matt, what type of confidence do you think that shows that they have in him? Is that not going to be a knock to your confidence as a quarterback if they're not putting you in and this guy is sucking it like day in, week out? There's like literally no reason for him to still be in the game and they're still not putting you in. Like, what would be even worse is if they named PJ the second, like the backup.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great. Like, do you carry 3 quarterbacks? Would be one thing, and I gotta say no. I think you should just. I'm hoping it's Corral, and if Darnold isn't good, then you just put him in. But if we're really right, if the things that we've talked about for the last 52 minutes before this moment about that offensive line are anywhere in the realm of reality, is Sam Darnold will be better next year than he was last year, right? And I'm not saying that means that he's going to be good. I just don't know a world where I'm going to see a Sam Darnold that was worse than last year with a line that's that should be notably better. That would be really bad. And then if that's the case, you have a duty and obligation to play the best player. And that would not be him.
Yeah. I just wonder how long that leash is. Greg, how long do you think of a leash Sam Darnold has this year?
Not very long at all. I'm of the belief that he could be taken over in training camp. I mean, they've made it very clear.
You're right.
Very clear that they're out on him. And now we have a quarterback. And the good thing about drafting at 3 is they can even say to him, they can run the story of which they've been kind of trying to do of, well, we still like you, Sam. Like, look, we're giving you competition. We waited till the 3rd round to draft a quarterback for you, so we can't say we were being unfair, But I think that, honestly, his job's in jeopardy. If we have a good preseason with Matt Corral, you may see him as starting quarterback day 1.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're around an hour into the podcast. If you've never been here before, this is a bunch of people who come and congregate, and they love to hear the sultry, silky, smooth embrace of the man whose voice makes them moist. Codizzle, talk to him, Big Papa.
Oh, welcome in on this fine Tuesday evening, the eve of the draft. And we have found ourselves with a buttload of optimism. And you've come into this chat, you've listened to 4 incredibly white guys talk about football for no other reason than we look incredibly sexy tonight. And you haven't hit that like button. How do you think that makes us feel on the inside? Our insides need that dopamine. When we see that like button, that counter continue to rise, our dopamine goes through the roof. And that means we can provide you even better content, and we can get out and get a bigger reach to even more people that need more Panthers content. So here, first and foremost, Danielle, happy birthday and subscriber shame.
Subscriber shame. 250 people watching, 107 thumbs up. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell for every single time the C3 Panthers podcast goes live. Panther Nation is buzzing. There is hope. There is a reason to believe in our future. Tony Dunn, let's listen to what these fans have to say here in the cat calls.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
What's up, C3 family? It's your boy 89 J Stubbs. How's it going?
Stubbs.
Just want to talk about this draft. I gave the draft a B. I thought we did well. Got a lot of potential there, but at the end of the day, we got 1 starter, maybe 2 if one of them linebackers can step up. But if you look at Matt Corral, what he ran a lot in college, a lot of RPOs. And they say he makes 1 read, but you go watch the film, he makes multiple reads. But the point I'm trying to make is him in an RPO offense, not saying starting day 1, not saying he'll be ready. I'm saying this in general. If you look, you want to have optimism, is Evan Neal was super dominant in the RPO offense. They ran in state. They ran a lot of, RPOs because he's so dominant. And I think him, C-Mac, the other 2 running backs we got, Foreman, and Evan Neal, and then you, like you said, you add Corral to an RPO type offense, man. I just think it would be super, super great, man. And I say we maybe bring in Clowney and Foles, try to bring Clowney in. I know he's a malcontent sometimes, but it sure help with the run, and maybe bring Foles in on a cheap deal to just have a veteran in the room. All right, guys, later.
Nice.
What do you think? I mean, the Clowney thing be interesting. Is that you're kind of you're a little thin at defensive end. You got a young YGM that you're hoping could show up, but even in Phil Snow's press conference, he said it's really for him. It's been availability that's been the issue,
right?
And then you get
Draft
this
guy.
Yeah, you draft a guy who is deep. A lot of people are excited about him. What's his name, Cody?
Which one?
The defensive
Virginia
end.
Tech.
I had it up just a minute ago. All the draft picks. Dang it.
That we drafted.
That we drafted. Yeah.
Amaro Beret, I believe. His name is kind of weird. Amare. Hang on, I have it up. I have the list right here.
Well, the point that I'm trying to get to is that Brian Burns. Barno.
Amari Barno. Yeah.
Barno.
Amare. It's Amare Barno.
The
very talented.
A lot of people have like talked about his athleticism and the traits, but that's he's super young. I hear like 20 or 21, so that's a developmental pick. So you're not going to go into the season thinking that those we don't have Morgan Fox anymore.
Right.
You're really trying to do Brian Burns, YGM, Marquise Haynes. Marquise Haynes, I think, can handle a lot of that load with good defensive tackles beside him. But if you did bring in a Clowney, that's the type of player you could use to balance out that offensive line on the other side of Brian Burns, a rounded player. So I am interested in that. That would tell us a little bit about what they think about their chances are this year. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, that would be a move trying to tell you that they think they got something they can cook with. Let's go on to the next call.
Hey, this is Panther Pickle, and I just wanted to throw my thoughts on the draft. I like all our picks. I really think that we did a good job this year. I would grade it as maybe an A- or a B+, but except for maybe Barnes, the 7th round pick. I really don't comprehend that pick. I understand he's fast, but I mean, at the 7th round pick with the depth we already have at corner, I just think there's other people that could have taken. For example, Carson Strong, the quarterback out of Nevada. I mean, he was for a 7th round pick. You could have to put that guy on your roster, maybe even a backup or something. Maybe a trade or something. But then you got the Justin Ross, the wide receiver from Clemson was available. You got a center, Alex Strongstrom. You got linebackers, Sanborn and Weatherford. Smoke Monday, the safety was out there. There's even a few kickers that we could have taken for a 7th round pick. I mean, let's remember, Buckner, the Chiefs kicker, was once our 7th round pick. So there would have been better answers at corner than corner. But it is what it is, and I do like the draft picks overall. And this is not a smack on Barnes either. He may turn out to be a excellent, fast corner. Don't mean to disrespect him, but I just thought we could have picked a better option at that pick. But anyway, keep pounding, and we may be a better season than some think.
I think we got it. I was going to ask you guys, I'm going to do some shorts this week about this, is what the best position group on our team is, like the strongest units.
Right.
And there are, I think, going to be some good conversations to be had about that. And he brought up the secondary, and the secondary is young. And if we think and believe, I think Keith Taylor, I believe is the guy's name from last year. A lot of people, Steve Smith liked him a lot. That room all of a sudden has some depth, and there's some excitement to it back there with Jeremy Chin leading that group. But he is the joke is that guy was a Baylor pick. But I hear he balls, dude. Like, a lot of people said that kid balls and that he's fast as all get out, and it's a traits like pick. But you're right, there are some things you could have done that would have you can continue to pad that team. But last year we tried to do some cute stuff like that and drafted a long snapper in the back end. So
that we didn't even have on the team for the entire year.
Go ahead. Do y'all think that this draft, which I think went pretty well. You can have your, certain players, whatever, but I think overall we did pretty well. Is it somewhat bittersweet though? Did we just save Matt Rhule's job by having
I
a
think
great
so.
draft?
I think so. Yeah. Is
Like,
that
what if Corral comes in and wins 10? I'm just saying, comes in and wins 10 games this year because it's possible. We have an offensive line now. CMC's back if he's healthy. DJ Moore, young, good, fresh defense. What if we win 10 games? Did we just?
I think we
save
could
Matt
win
Rhule's
9
job?
with Darnold.
Listen,
I think 9 with Darnold's a possibility.
As much as we dislike Matt Rhule, it's like, what are you more, a fan of the Panthers or a non-fan of Matt Rhule? Like, at the end of the day, as much as I dislike this clown, as much as I don't think that he's a good long-term option, like, if the Panthers can be a 10-win football team, then let's fucking go,
it.
baby.
Let's
I'm ready to go. This middle 5 and 8, middle of the road type of bullshit, dude, I'm done with that, man. This middle of the road trash to me feels even worse than being like one of the the worst teams in football.
Right.
And we have been one of the worst teams in football, man.
Yeah.
If our talent can overcome Matt Rhule, then let it happen, man.
I'm at the point on Monday I put out a little short video and it was just about how we need to forgive the Matt Rhule of last year. Now that doesn't mean that you give him a pass. That doesn't mean you forget. But I think right now you have to breathe optimism into this season, right? And I think the people who have instructed us to do that are the Carolina Panthers themselves. They have taken an approach in the offseason and in this draft that was not panicky, but also thoughtful enough that they believed that they gave Matt Rhule the tools to go succeed.
I would disagree with that slightly.
Okay.
They tried to become panicky with Deshaun Watson.
Oh, yeah. You're right. You're right. If you almost, and I have fallen for the Panthers propaganda. I've already forgotten about Deshaun Watson, completely, like it was even a thing. It almost was like an organization, but you're right. That is let's go. That is like the big sexy move. But I do feel like I don't think they sold this team out in free agency this year. I thought they made wise, strong pickups that made the team better for the most, like that offensive line. I think they didn't ditch Matt Rhule. Right. They didn't set him up for a failure, for a tank. And I think this team has the talent with Sam Darnold to win 9 games. And I don't know what it is with Matt Corral. I think right now is you got to believe that right now, Matt Rhule, we got to get back to thinking of Matt Rhule at the end of 2021 rather than 2022.
Right.
And I think there's a chance. I think there's a chance that he could. And I'm rooting for it. I'm rooting for the Carolina Panthers to have a good season. I'm excited. I have optimism. And the reason I'm so optimistic is not because of one thing. I don't think Matt Corral is going to save us. I don't think one thing is going to save us. I just think we finally have a decent offensive line, or above average offensive line that we can pair with a defense. And I think that can give you a chance to be a good football team.
Yeah.
The number,
well said.
The number is 252-228-5098.
What's going on, fellas? Corey calling in. Just wanted to give my take on the draft, man. I hope everybody's feeling as good as I am about it, man. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with what Fitterer and the team has done. Obviously, you don't want to speak too highly or get too ahead of yourself because these players just have to hit the field. But when we talk about what we're coming away with after what we were going into the draft with, coming into the draft not knowing what the hell was going to happen, and we had the 6th overall pick and then nothing until round 4, and then to be able to walk out with a lot of people's number 1 left tackle in the entire draft, a very, very, very talented quarterback that we barely gave up shit for him. Bro, I can't tell you how fucking lit I am that we got Matt Corral, man, and that we did not give up any capital for Baker Mayfield, Jimmy Garoppolo type,
true that,
mid-20s quarterback. I don't want that. If we're gonna move away from Sam Darnold, let's go ahead and find a piece. We didn't, reach for Malik or Kenny Pickett. We got a talented guy that could potentially be our future. And then this linebacker we just picked up, what's his name? I'm reading up on Bro now.
Brandon Smith.
Come back in and get him in the 4th round.
Perfect
6'3",
segue.
runs a 4.5. I mean, shit, we need linebacker depth like Shaq. He's getting up there. Jermaine Carter, he was terrible. So I mean, I feel like coming into the draft, we did a lot of good moves, especially thinking where we were going coming in. Man, I didn't think we'd be able to get this many quality players at like really positional needs, man. So I think we're on a good upswing up. I'll see what we can do for the rest of these few rounds. But I hope everybody else is liking these picks like I am, man. Let's see what else we got going on.
Don't forget funny man Damian Wilson, the cat killer, or the fake cat killer, that he could be missing action. So tell me about this. So we needed this linebacker pick is important. Another reason that the Carolina Panthers got high draft grades from people is kind of mixing high upside guys with needs on the team. So I feel like the draft people who review us, right, who like the draft nerds who rate people's drafts, they have to combine like the talent of the player, the upside of the player, which they always love, with the need of the team, because then it becomes more than BPA. So tell us about this guy.
Yeah, listen, this is the definition of a high upside prospect. All of the guys that the Panthers drafted this year tested very well at the combine. And Matt Rhule has told you as such before. Right. They believe in these guys with the crazy athletic profiles. None other than Brandon Smith, 6'4", 245 pounds, number 12 at Penn State. This dude is a heat-seeking missile, man. They played him a little bit all over the field, so he's a little bit rusty when it comes to certain things. They're going to really have to coach him up. But when you look at just a pure specimen of a linebacker and of a football player, this guy is a physical freak. They're going to ask him to play big and strong, play downhill, run between the tackles, and make plays and shut things off to the outside. Again, he's very raw. He's going to need some polish to his game. But from every indication is that he's a great learner. He's a powerful young man. And I think this is a tremendous pick for the Panthers, man. You put him next to Shaq Thompson. You have Frankie Louvu on this team. Hopefully this goes a long way in the Panthers linebacking core becoming much better than it has been, because the past few years it's been atrocious.
I think he's pretty young. That was the defensive end. I'm trying to think. This Brandon Smith guy, linebacker, Penn State.
He's 21.
21. He's listed as this is 6'3". Oh God, stupid NFL.com and their damn automatic ads. He's listed as 6'3.5", 250 pounds. I think he's an athletic guy, as in he had a 37-inch vertical, 128-inch broad jump, and he ran a 4.5. I think this is a player that kind of reminds me of a underdeveloped, like, who's the guy that you liked a lot last year from Clemson? Kind of
Isaiah Simmons?
Yeah. That like a little longer version of a linebacker, maybe than, 6'3" isn't a crazy high, but usually the linebacker, I feel like, is just, he's a little longer. 250 pounds is not too light for a linebacker. At 21, he's going to be able to grow into that. But Shaq Thompson, they wanted him under 250 for a while. Yeah. So this guy doesn't look big. They have said that getting him in run fits is going to be the important part of his development.
Well, it's so funny because you and Cody both gave off height and weight, and both of them were just different. And I'm looking at the Carolina Panthers, and it's different from what both of y'all said. So I'm looking at 3 different height and weights for this guy.
What is he? What do you got? Oh, let's
on the
read
Panthers website. It says 6'3", even 240. Tony, you said 6'3.5", 250, and Cody, you said 6'4", 245. So I was like, wow, okay,
So
three
he's
different heights
somewhere
and
in that
weights.
range.
Yeah, he's somewhere in that vicinity.
Yeah,
so.
somewhere in that vicinity.
So we'll say he's 245 because I had 250. This is NFL.com prospects, draft prospects.
Yeah.
And does it?
It's just funny how that works, like because
It
we're
is.
on different sites. I'm on the Panther site.
Yeah. So is that this kind of seems like a guy though that Cody I could see being a more modern linebacker in the NFL.
Sure.
And so good stuff there is meeting needs and picking high upside players. Let's go back to the calls.
Hey, what's up, fellas? This is Hampton Howe, HH, from down in Wilmington, North Carolina. This is my first time calling in. Listened to you guys for a long time. But the reason I'm calling in is because of Tony's short that he made the other day about forgiving Matt Rhule. And it just really touched me. And, there's a lot of podcasts that I could listen to that contain Panther content. But you guys have something special going on. And I think that's why you guys have such a high viewer rate. I probably won't be calling back, or anytime soon, but I just want to let you guys know that I really appreciate your fellowship and to keep up the good work.
Well, look,
Appreciate you, man.
I do. Thank you for your one-time call. No, that's awesome. Thank you. I like that. Is one of the things about I want people to hopefully do on the internet and myself. This is just something I challenge my own self to do, is to change my ideas as information presents itself,
right?
And being open to adapting and evolving of your ideas on any subject.
Right.
And that doesn't mean that you have to surrender your beliefs just but with the wind, where the wind blows, but to become entrenched in an idea despite evidence, is that you just have to know things are fluid. And so that's what we got to do. We got to believe that Matt Rhule, what happened last year is not the only story to Matt Rhule, and that the story's not over. I appreciate the call and you calling in. I like this is that even though you're not calling back, he said, I'm not calling. I probably won't call back, but he did say that he would continue listening. And I like that he feels it kind of implied there's a community going, even for people who aren't on the show, who may not be able to participate in the live chat. There's a lot of people that watch the show on YouTube or on Facebook later on. There are people that listen to it in the car on the way on the commute.
Right.
And I like that he feels a part of that community. So we appreciate your support. The number is 252-228-5098. Let's keep going.
Hi there, Tony, Cody, Greg, everybody out there. It's been a while since I phoned
What's up,
in.
Rich?
Hey, Rich.
Just wanted to say hi. I like the draft. Impressed with what we managed to do with so little. Never has so much been done with so little, I believe some Englishman once said. Ekwonu great, especially as it looks like we're going to try and run the ball a lot. Really pleased with that. Matt Corral, who knows, but very twitchy. Looking at his tape, if you watch how quick he resets his feet, I mean, I'm so down on Sam Darnold. I mean, I don't know if I've said this. Sam Darnold doesn't look like a quarterback. I mean, it's not even that he's bad. He just doesn't look like a quarterback. He looks like a converted linebacker trying to play quarterback, which is what he was. But shocking. Anyway, so yeah, Corral, who knows? Or Corral. I think Golden Corral going round, but whatever. And then, picking twitchy guys later on. Between Chin and Smith, we might have 2 6'3" linebacker, strong safety types roaming the secondary to cover tight ends. And then taking just basically the fastest players they can find, whether that's there seems to have been a bit of an issue with boosting special teams this season. Between taking Hecker, we signed Andre Roberts today, and we're bringing in these guys that are running sub 4.3, which is insane speed. I think there's going to be a real emphasis on that, probably because we're going to end up punting all the time if we're starting Don. But anyway, I still listen to you guys all the time. I don't commute anymore, so finding 3 or 5 hours isn't quite as easy as it was. But loving all your stuff, guys, and wishing you all the best. Still listening in, and keep pounding. Okay.
Keep
Yeah.
pounding. Hey, fantastic call by Rich from across the pond over there in UK. And listen, that's another great segue. Those are two great cat call segues in a row, because the next player that he sort of alluded to there, defensive ends running a 4.38. This is Amari Barno, the defensive end out of Virginia Tech. And this dude is another
4.38.
Yeah, man, he's that fast. It was one of the fastest defensive end prospects ever at the combine. The physical upside is there, man. He's 6'6", long arms, 245 pounds. This guy has the physical build to be able to not only put on more muscle, but to use his naturally long arms to shoot his hands into the chest of opposing offensive linemen and just be a dog, man. I mean, I think raw aggression is something that you see the Panthers trying to put an emphasis on with Frankie Louvu. Now we have Brian Burns off the edge. You added Matt Ioannidis. Now you add a guy like this, and your pass rush should be able to be nasty, especially on third downs, being able to get after the quarterback. I even think Ben McAdoo, and I said this in one of our earlier streams, I kind of think that we're probably, or not Ben McAdoo, but Phil Snow with Steve Wilkes, we're probably going to see a lot of corner blitzes, a lot of linebacker blitzes. We have enough speed to scare the shit out of opposing quarterbacks every time we play them. This is another fantastic physical talent on the Carolina Panthers.
Is his, I'd like to see some of his agility drills, right? Where it comes to, right. Man, he's got a good vertical. He's got a big, broad jump. He's super fast, but like that the three cone drill, some of those agility in space, because when you read off this guy's, like his size and what position he plays, this would have been a very high pick in, say, 2010, 11. Quentin Coples, who was from Kinston, North Carolina, I think he also played at UNC Chapel Hill. He was one of those players that they saw as a defensive, that played defensive end in college, but they saw him being a 3-4 stand-up defensive end. So you could do some fun stuff with him. But the question is, can you ask those guys to drop into coverage a lot? And that's really where, like, they're great. You just don't want them to be what happens with Quentin Coples is that the pass rush was there. It's just the coverage part and the lateral quickness wasn't there so much. But that's crazy athletic. Again, I think this is why the draft gurus love the Carolina Panthers draft, a need defensive end. Like you're going down the list of all the things. Offensive line, check. You pick a that's elite prospect. Then you get to the quarterback, and again, it's the traits and the upside that meets and dovetails with the need on the team that makes the pick exciting. Then you move on to the next one, linebacker, upside and need. Boom. This guy, upside and need. And that has made us excited about it. And boy, do you think they are money balling it too much, or that's what you should be doing in the 5th and 6th round, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is. By the way, I told you wrong. My apologies. I said he ran a 4.38. He ran a 4.36 at 245 pounds.
Maybe we should just make him like a wide receiver.
I mean, dude, a tight end.
Like, why can't we just? Yeah, I mean, like maybe he should be. He only has 9-inch hands for being 6'5". There's like maybe he can't catch.
I mean,
obviously,
listen, I think his fast physical ability to be able to fly to the football. The Panthers put an emphasis on.
Why can't we make him a tight end? That would be awesome. Imagine that.
I mean, hey, I'm down for a lot of different things if it's clever, if it works.
That would be crazy.
But I mean, I think Tommy Tremble has yet to show you what kind of beast he is, man. So that ought to be exciting as well. But one of the questions that's going to run throughout our draft is that we have a lot of raw talent, a lot of guys that need coaching up they need a few years to learn to, for Brandon Smith, it's going to be gap assignments. For Amari, it's going to be a lot more pass rushing maneuvers. For Ikem Ekwonu, it's going to be, pass sets and making sure that, he doesn't extend himself too much. Matt Corral, it's going to be all the ins and outs of a real legitimate pro style system. But the real question is, do we have faith in our coaching staff to actually develop all the young, incredibly talented players the coaches have right now? Because they do need a fresh coat of polish before they're really ready to be, Pro Bowl, all pro level prospects, if they ever make it to that point.
None of these guys were drafted for that except for Ikem Ekwonu.
Yeah.
None of them were drafted
right
in the short term to be just transcendent play. These are kind of just good value picks for us. And I think, look, is with James Campen, we haven't even talked about the Cade Mays, whatever, dude, is that offensive lineman. I'm telling you, this guy might be one of those gems that you add into that. So with James Campen and that offensive line, I expect them to be much improved. Steve Wilkes, we don't have really any secondary things we're going to be talking about so far in the, with the guys we've selected. So we have confidence in Steve Wilkes. But I tell you, this coaching staff has shown a willingness to play young guys and put a lot of responsibility on them. So particularly on defense. So this linebacker that we picked, this defensive end, I have more faith in them than a lot, because look, Phil Snow's done a good job of coaching up a young defense very quickly. And Jeremy Etienne, I think, is a great example of this.
Right.
And I'm not saying one of these guys is going to be to that level, but right now on the defensive side, we believe that they can coach people up. It's the offensive side that the question marks lie. And this draft is kind of taking us away from that, because one, the selections we made on offense were on offensive line. There's kind of a question looming in my head, is our wide receiver group weak? I know that sounds strange, right? DJ off the table. Don't need to talk about him. Strength, super strength for this squad. But the talkative Robbie Anderson, the very talkative Robbie Anderson is that, how good is he? And look, I'm not trying to say that he's bad. I actually I like him in a lot of ways. But even in his best capacity, him and DJ can DJ can only raise that boat, that ceiling so high. Robbie could either add to it or pull it down a little. Right now, he's kind of neutral, maybe even pulling it down, both because of his play on the field last year and then kind of the distraction stuff that's going on surrounding him. The real question mark goes is Terrace Marshall Jr. enough at the third spot to really say that our receiving core is strong? I'm almost starting to put it in one of our weaker units. Am I missing a guy because Shi Smith is not going to be on this team? You can tell me that you got the undrafted Rambo. Am I missing somebody on this? Zylstra?
Wait. Why do you say Shi Smith isn't going to be on this team?
He's had the charges filed against him.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that he's not like.
He's done, dude, and he's
No,
but like, I mean, how about this? Is they brought in a new return guy. I just don't know if he is the grace that you don't get a lot of grace when you're on a lower pick and on the bubble.
Right.
I think the fact that we have 3 different big name receiving prospects and DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and Christian McCaffrey, even though he is a running back, I think the rest of our guys are just unproven. And the fact of the matter is, it isn't hard to recoup on wide receivers. I mean, through the draft, you can find them. In free agency, you can find them. And I really like what James.
But we didn't in this.
Says right here, though. I mean, yes, they're not necessarily as proven, but we have all the talent in the world in our receiving core. And Terrace Marshall Jr., we haven't even begun to see the best of this guy. You have to give him some time with a better offensive line, a more consistent offensive coordinator, and a quarterback that can routinely get him the football. Those things
Right.
matter.
Not fighting that. The point is, though, is it one of our stronger units right now? And on the face of it, you can't. I know you threw Christian McCaffrey in there. That's a little weak jab there. Like,
He is a receiver, though. I mean, he's both.
Yeah.
Is he not?
Look, I think that it's definitely needs improvement, but I think where it needs improvement, I think you'd be okay with Marshall because he'll step up. I think we need to try to trade for a really like a proven tight end. I think that would improve our receiving core better than just about everything. Because then you've got McCaffrey, a good receiving tight end, a great wide receiver, and then between Robbie Anderson and Marshall, hopefully somebody who can catch balls.
I believe Tommy Tremble under McAdoo can really explode on this offense.
I do too.
Maybe.
You know, I think that he has if you look at his what he's capable of, and I remember early, even in the preseason, he had some flashes of what you want in a tight end. And I think that he has that potential because I remember making a statement the dude just looks different. And I just, if given an opportunity in an offense that actually suits tight ends, which I don't think Joe Brady had an offense that was actually going to be tight end friendly. I think it was very clearly, tailored to a quarterback who couldn't get enough time to be able to get the ball out. So he was doing a lot of short passes. And that wasn't to the tight end for some reason when I felt like that was probably the most ideal place for a ball to go like that. But yeah, I think Tommy Tremble has a lot of potential here.
I hope that'd be great.
I love it.
Yeah,
man.
I think too is I think Ben McAdoo is going to do a lot for this team. I think he's going to bring a lot.
Man.
Let's go.
Ben McAdoo has been an asset to us, and he hasn't even coached a game for us yet.
Things have only gotten better since he's got here.
That's true. 252-228-5098.
Hey. You know who the fuck it is. Booyaka! It's G, baby, and I got a lot to fucking say. And Tony, I'd appreciate it if you play these motherfucking calls in order. Because I'm coming at you today. You pissed me the fuck off, G. So I'm going to call this segment Sipping on That Juice. Once again, these bitch-ass motherfuckers got you guys sipping on that juice again. What has this organization proved? What have they proven to us, guys? What has this front office done? Come on, man. 31 teams avoided Matt Corral for a fucking reason, man. 31 teams avoided this man for a fucking reason. And we just happened to be the team that pulled the fucking trigger and we fucking traded a third-round pick to move up to go get this guy, man. We were the dummies to go do that. The same clown show fucking organization, the same fucking Carolina Panthers doing the same stupid-ass fucking shit, man. 31 teams avoided trading for Baker Mayfield, and we were going to be the one team to fucking pull the trigger. We were going to be that team, knowing damn well these guys are about to cut this motherfucker, and we were going to trade for this motherfucker.
Another good segue.
I hate these guys. I hate these guys. Another thing, multiple teams. The Jags had 2 first-round picks. The Jets had 3. The Giants had 2. And the Lions had 2. We suck just as bad as them, or even worse. Why the fuck do we not have multiple fucking draft picks, man, in the first round? Why?
Call the tank.
Why do all these teams I see coming up are making moves and actually improving? We haven't improved. What have we done? What the fuck have we done? How have we improved? Where? I like the Ickey pick. I love the Ickey pick, actually. It was either between him or Evan in my book. That's who I wanted. I love that pick.
Well, there's your answer.
But for us to trade that third to move up to get an alcohol QB that loves to party, that has depression problems, that's willing to open up about it, which is totally okay. But if you want to open up in front of the world, bro, it's obviously
you sound clownish, bro.
But you want that to be the face of the franchise, right? God fucking damn, that's stupid, man. Love the Ickey pick. Love it. 18-week schedule, boys. 18 weeks. I want to talk about the Saints roster. I want to talk about the fucking Saints and what they've done, man. Because I don't think the Panther Nation, these dumb motherfuckers, are giving these guys enough credit, man. The Saints are looking scary, man. And whoever says that we're gonna go 1-1 or beat them twice, y'all are fools, man. And they go and pick up a Hall.
beat him last year. Was that the last of his?
That's it. He's got one. He's got. Yeah. I mean, he's got 3 more minutes. So if you want to react to that beginning,
yeah. So one, we have to listen, Tony. Maybe I kind of glossed over this earlier before. Matt Corral, to me, he's like an everyman, dude. In today's world, who doesn't deal with anxiety and depression? Let alone during the pandemic when the entire world was going through it. Like, yeah, this is someone that's relatable, man. Right. He's been through some things. He isn't.
Can you tell me some of the details on this? I don't really know.
Yeah, man. So apparently, when so he had gotten into the fight with Wayne Gretzky's son over at USC. He ends up transferring over to Ole Miss, and this is like near and around the time of COVID. And he said that he was just upset and depressed. His teammates didn't know, really what he was going through. He said that he was drinking too much at one point in time and that he was really going through it, man. He was going through a difficult time, but then ultimately was able to overcome that. He even made a support group of, for people that were dealing with similar kind of issues. And because of that, he dedicated himself to learning the playbook, being a better quarterback, and being a better person all around. So it's like, yeah, man. So like G-Baby and C-Dog came on the Sunday show at the same time. Dude, that was difficult trying to be a moderator on that day, okay? But I said the same thing to G-Baby then because he brought it up there too. Like, oh, we have a depressed quarterback that's an alcoholic. Like, man, you can't just throw that against someone just because someone has been through a difficult time in their life, man. Like, that's fucked up. We shouldn't do that anyway. And who doesn't like to have a drink from time to time? It's like, dude, it's such a non-issue. You're latching onto a story that is designed to tear down the lives of young people before they even start their NFL career, man. Mm-hmm. And frankly, it's kind of spineless, man. So I'm not about it. Go ahead.
More to the point of what he's saying, what have we done? We've done a lot. Like, we've been screaming to fix the offensive line. We drafted 2 proven offensive linemen and used a first-round pick to get what people are arguably saying is the best pick on the board, like in the draft. So we've done a lot to improve the offensive line. I mean, look, if you're upset about us trading up to get him as a Matt Corral, it's obviously a vendetta against Corral. You just don't like Corral because what else would we have done? Just not picked anything and gone in with Sam Darnold? Worst case scenario is he's as bad as Sam Darnold. And what have we spent on him, And
it's not like we traded into the first or the second. Yeah. I mean, like CK said earlier in the show, this is a I hate when they down the trades. Like, I saw a lot of teams. I saw somebody writing negatively about the Jacksonville Jaguars draft. And they were like, I can't believe they traded for this guy when there's these 3 other comps that are right beside him. I was like, it's a 5th round pick. If they want this guy and they got 900 picks, let them trade. What, like, who cares? You can't say that. That's just a draft nerd thing. To circle back though to the Corral thing, one is first, the alcoholism is a giant problem in America. I'm one of them. Like, man, I'm like I think I'm taking a break right now for like a lot of reasons. And the pandemic did accelerate that with a ton of people. Right. Now, here's the other thing. This kid's 21 years old, right? Is that what you say? 23? Something like that? 23. I would be more suspicious of a 20 to 23-year-old that didn't suffer through these things, like not suffer, but go like I wouldn't believe anybody's like, that was too perfect. Is that like there's skeletons in the most perfect closet. And I think that's just candor in some ways. The other is like, look, Michael Jordan and them used to go party all the time. And I'm not saying he's Michael Jordan, but Daryl Straw, like a lot of these guys party and there's like, and go hard. And back in it, that's actually like, those are like very tame stories. If you hear like from what you're describing, that's like the tamest of issues. And there's only one thing, this will only matter if you can party and play. You can party and play. Yeah. And Ty Gurley taught us how you have to do it.
When you want to hoot with the Owls, you better soar with the Eagles.
Exactly. And I think
if you want to hoot with the Owls, you got to soar with the Eagles. And so if this man balls out, who cares?
And you know what? Listen,
a,
something else that we haven't even mentioned yet. Bye Baker Mayfield, bro. Barely knew you. Peace and fucking love, dude. Like, and you know, G Baby would have called in and would have been so pissed at the Panthers front office for going trading for another busted ass quarterback that wasn't successful with another team that had a ton of talent. So it's like, come on, man. That would have been the most Panther thing to do in the history of all Panthers.
He referenced it in his call. It's like,
yeah, he did.
And that I think it's the resistance of that. I don't know if it's a resistance of the attempt. They didn't do that. That would have been the worst thing, right? Cody, what could they have really realistically done better at this point? And I'm not saying that this is a perfect, flawless execution, but we got out of the Deshaun Watson race. We got some good players, it seems like, in free agency on very reasonable short-term contracts. You're not locked down with anything. You add a top draft. You add to the offensive line in the draft. You don't overreach on a quarterback. If we would have picked a quarterback at 6, like really, I mean, this is a very, I think, about the safest type approach you could do. Right. At the very worst case scenario, Matt Corral doesn't work out, and it's a 3rd-round pick.
The other
none of us are like Will Greer ruined our organization.
And not to pile on to G Baby, but the other part to this is he said 31 other teams passed on him. That's just a false statement. There's not 31 other teams that were in need of a QB, right? That you can't say that. You can say
that about any player.
You can say
and to that point, he would have gone drafted.
Right.
He wouldn't have gone undrafted.
Right. He would have gotten drafted. It was the 3rd round, and we moved up because we knew that there was a chance that another team was going to get him. Right. And I think they liked him. I do think that. Now, the other part to this is you might be right, G Baby. He might not be a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Right.
He might not be, but he was a 3rd-round pick. And a lot of times 3rd-rounders don't work out as a starting a starting player at all, much less a starting quarterback.
Especially a quarterback. Yeah.
But we as Panthers fans, and you, G Baby, I would have liked to think this, we should look at what we had at that moment in time. We had the opportunity to go forward with Sam Darnold, which we may still end up doing.
Right.
Go after Baker Mayfield. Go
Which
after Jimmy G. Go after a busted up Jimmy G with a possible issue with throwing the ball because he's got a shoulder surgery. Go after another QB other than another QB that would have been passed up by 31 other teams, quote unquote, right? In the draft. I mean, what are the other options? Let's try to look at this guy as being a potential franchise quarterback, be excited about the possibility that he brings to the team instead of just making this about his personal life and making this about the fact that he got drafted in the 3rd round as opposed to the 1st round.
Well, the 3rd round is a negligible round to me. It's rounds 1 and 2. And the last point I want to make about Corral is that this would be one thing if he's a 1st-round pick. But the other is, like, if you look at the distance between Pickett, who went 20, and the distance between Matt Corral, like, I feel like those are also negligible, right? There's just as much talent, risk, reward there. So I think that, again, lends towards the value of the pick is Kenny Pickett at 20 really that much better of a prospect as a starting quarterback than Matt Corral is? And if it's this much, then you saved a ton of risk and could reach a ton of reward.
Yeah. And the Panthers said that they evaluated him highly. I don't know if that means they would have traded backward into the 1st round and still picked him. But again, I want to hammer down that Baker Mayfield point because, again, after looking at what the Panthers did with Teddy Bridgewater, brought him in for a year and kicked him to the curb. Then you settled again for less than your best by going to get Sam Darnold. That's why you didn't have a 2nd-round pick this year. And then just to turn around and go and get Baker Mayfield, a guy from the same draft as Sam Darnold, who couldn't prove that he was the guy on a team with a ton of talent, arguably more than the Panthers do. And you only have him for a year under $18.5 million. Cleveland did not want to eat that money. What would that have signaled to Panther fans? That we're going to keep on doing the same thing over and over. What's that saying, Tony? When you like the definition of insanity is when you do the same thing over and over, expecting different results.
I think Robbie Anderson even wrote that recently, and some people wondered if he was talking about Sam Darnold in that case. He celebrated this draft class as well.
Just a quick question. It doesn't have to be a deep discussion. Would you have been all right with a straight up trade between Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield?
No, because in my world,
Sam?
No, it's not that I prefer Sam. It's that I'm tired of this quarterback purgatory, and Baker Mayfield's not the answer for the next 2 or 3 years.
What if you had the same draft? What if you had the same draft though? Like, so you still have Matt Corral. And this is a 1 year. Is it a 1 year Baker Mayfield better than a 1 year Sam Darnold?
Like, because they're talking about that being a possibility, especially if the potential for Deshaun Watson to be suspended for an entire year comes into play. They're not going to play Baker. Baker's not going to play for them.
Or even if it's 6 games, you know what I'm saying? 6 games with Baker, like they're going to have to cut him. What if they cut Baker? How about, here's another way of saying it. If they cut Baker Mayfield, would you be upset right now if we cut Sam Darnold and picked up Baker Mayfield at an equal price?
Yes, because we're still going to be held account. We're going to be still paying more money for quarterbacks than we do right now.
Well, if the thing is that if they cut Baker Mayfield, they pay the remainder of his salary.
Yeah.
Therefore, if you picked up Baker Mayfield, you wouldn't have to pay.
But
like
if
we cut Sam Darnold, you have to pay Sam's.
Yeah.
And then you would have.
That's
to
why
pay
the straight up
at least
the straight up trade would just be the exact dollar amount.
Exactly.
The one thing I here is my is Baker Mayfield's coming off of an injury. So it's not even just Baker Mayfield. And that's why the whole Jimmy G conversation's had to go too, is because it's not just Jimmy G coming in. It's Jimmy G, an injured Jimmy G coming in. So it's not just Baker Mayfield. So I say keep Sam Darnold at this point and just roll like that. The last point, the G baby, and he's got another 3 minutes we got to get through. And that is why don't we have first round picks? Now, that we understand why we don't, right? There's been some issues in the past. You can go back to the Washington game we won. There's things that have changed the trajectory of our draft. But I don't want to get into it too much. But it was a weakness going into this draft that we lost draft capital from last year to this year, right? You lost salary cap with the Cam Newton, right? So that is a reasonable criticism about what we saw was a strength of Moneyball Fitterer last year, moving and acquiring assets for the future. All of a sudden, we didn't have them this year. But on the other side of that coin is what have we done? What has this front office done? Is they didn't continue that slide, right? Is like we got through this draft and this offseason without forfeiting future capital. And Scott Fitterer was clear about that in his discussion. It's like, I went down that road. I don't need a Sam Darnold. That's what this front office has done, is maybe learned a little from the mistake of Sam Darnold and not going in, because that clearly had something to do with it. It's not like why they weren't over the moon on Sam. They were interested in Baker Mayfield. They just weren't interested in the price.
Right.
Yeah, very true. They were not interested in the price, and I don't think they should be, man. Again, look at the optics on. If you were able to save no money, you would be paying almost $40 million to 2 quarterbacks that you don't have under contract for the next year. You only have under contract for 1 year. Like, dude, that is the meaning of ridiculous. And hey, before we go to the next cat call, I forgot to read this out when he donated it. Clell Ham, he says, hot take, better chance of Sam being good than Matt with the $199 love bomb. No, I think he's talking Matt Corral.
Matt Corral. Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was during our discussion of upside next year, and we were forgiving Matt Rhule.
That's I could see that. Like Tony, you said you think we could win 9 games with Sam Darnold. And I mean, if you give Sam Darnold lines, like we said, he looks like he has all the parts for the joke. He just needs the punchline. You know?
Hey, and here one other thing is people aren't. I know they keep saying Sam sucks, but you know who sucked? The entire team sucked on third quarter last year. So like you gotta believe that the Ben McAdoo offense is going to be better in the third quarter, automatically better. Right. You know, the problem with this team was just scoring it. So, I mean, there's a lot of different issues, and they weren't just Sam Darnold, and the coaching staff was part of that equation and their lack of experience. So they've upgraded in a lot of areas. I expect this team to be better. As the people are just worried about, they're just going to say it's not going to be good because it's different. And that's a good thing. The damn thing that the fact that the team is good is the different is an asset for us because last year's team sucked. 252-228-5098. Let's go. G baby.
I want us back to talking about the Saints. They just picked up, in my opinion, the Hall of Fame safety. That's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He's going back home.
We don't need a safety.
You got Michael Thomas coming back, Alvin Kamara, and then you go and pair Chris Olave, which in my opinion was the best receiver coming out of this draft. Like, come on, man.
I ain't worried about the rookie receiver.
And you put him back there with that defense that's
JC
already
Horn.
nice as fuck. Like, come on, boys. And then what? Don't forget they went and got a left tackle in the first round.
They were the guy that everybody hates, though, except for Joey.
And
Joey likes him.
about
Penning.
Matt Rhule, your new name is officially Rat Rule. That's what I'm calling you. You're Rat Rule. So I want to talk about Bryce Young being the heir to Aaron Rodgers. And I want to talk about C.J. Stroud being the heir to Deshaun fucking Watson.
Isn't one of them like 5'11"?
Fucking games. This next
I'm
year.
about to roast him.
I don't see Rat Rule, coming back next season, man. I don't.
Okay.
I think we might be able to agree
I
on
don't.
that part at least.
Man, I mean,
And in
like,
my opinion, we're going to have a top 3 pick. And then we're going to have Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud.
Then pick 'em.
What did you talk
What are we going to do?
then
Dude,
pick
I might
them.
have to put a pause on him, dude.
Are we going to be stupid
How-
and not pull the trigger on one of these boys? Because we got Matt Corral.
No, we would if
And
we
they're
were
gonna be
there.
dumb as fuck, and they're going to start this full watch. With this kind of schedule, the dude needs to sit. But the thing is, Sam Darnold sucks so bad, Matt Corral's probably going to be starting by week 3 or week 4. And then he's going to have...
And then we're gonna get Stroud if you're right.
I got a lot to say tonight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Tony,
It's like,
Tony.
Oh, here,
You're
look.
talking about
He's been-
forgiveness, motherfucker.
Oh, he's mad at my short.
Forgiving Matt Rat Rule? You Kim K dick jumping motherfucker? You soft ass motherfucker? What are you talking about forgiveness, G? After this
He
man
always
lied to
sounds
us
like he's in training
over and
day.
over and driven this organization to the fucking ground, you want us to forgive him? Off of what? What has he done, Tony? What the fuck are you talking about forgiveness, bro? I'm coming at you, G. Ice the fuck up, G.
The whole
about
chat
fucking
room is
forgiveness.
booing G baby,
Off of these
dude.
fucking picks. I want to
So
talk about
mad.
these picks.
He's so mad.
So
I love
angry,
some of these
dude.
picks. Brandon Smith, I like that pick.
All right.
Mario.
So he likes
Mario.
Ickey. He likes
Yeah,
I love
Brandon.
that pick.
About the
6'6",
shit that he
I love that.
likes.
Who was that other one he loved?
Brandon Smith, I like that pick. Barno, I love that pick. 6'6", I love that.
Then it's a good draft.
So far, 3 out of
You know,
5 picks he likes.
Jalen Barnes. Bro, all you are is fast. I seen the highlights. You're not that good of a football player. You're just super fast. That's why
All
you
right.
fell with that kind of speed.
Yeah,
See,
it's
baby.
close friends, bro. It's close. By the way, did you notice in all the times that he said how bad Matt Corral is, he never one time mentioned anything football related. He never said, oh, he can't do this well. Oh, Matt Corral can't do this well. And then goes on to talk about C.J. Stroud. Dude, what do you know about C.J. Stroud right now? I mean, seriously.
How about
he's
this? If G Baby will be right, if we're as bad as he thinks we are gonna be, then he'll be right. Then we shouldn't have had any grace and optimism for Matt Rhule. We should have just yelled and screamed. But the whole point is this: is part of that discussion is that Matt Rhule's our coach right now. You know what I mean? We didn't fire him. This and that. So, like, what do? Do you root for his failure? Okay. then guess what? He will be gone, regardless of whether or not my anxiety level goes down or up over Matt Rhule. And you will get one of those quarterbacks that you think is going to be awesome. Right? I mean, like, and on top of that, you just said you liked every draft pick except for Matt Corral. Don't worry. The very fact that he's a 3rd round pick actually eliminates the fear that you have. You know, if you would have picked him in the high second, if you would have traded in the high second, or if you would have traded back in the first and picked him, then yeah, next year you kind of get to that point of, man, did we make him, like, did we believe in what we did last year? Should we roll with this? And you pass and then you get the best whatever at that point. No, you don't have that discussion. If you're picking in the top 5, you're having a discussion about getting a quarterback for your coach. So there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, he's really, I mean, look, he's a passionate fan. He's allowed to have his opinion. But, I mean, I don't know, man. I think that there's a reason to look at Matt Corral and be very hopeful about what he is as a quarterback prospect. And I would dare someone like G to come in here and tell me what the fear about him is. Because, again, he didn't mention anything about his film. He didn't mention anything about deep ball accuracy or lack of drive or lack of vision. None of that. Just, Matt Corral sucks because a bunch of other teams passed on him. But teams pass on good fucking players every single year. So it's not even a good point, man. And shout out to my man Kevin Boshoven from Charleston. He says, I'm drunk, so hot take. Rookie of the year. Horn has 4 interceptions. Panthers go to the playoff, and Cody becomes a Gamecocks fan. Bro, now why'd you have to put that dumb shit at the end?
No. You didn't finish it. You didn't finish it.
Oh, he loves tits.
Or it would have been different if it was a semicolon. How about this? All I can think is that Kevin Boshoven is probably hanging out with Matt Corral right now. That's what it is. It's Matt Corral just bought him all the shots, and they got around them, and he's enjoying life. Go ahead, CK. You had something about the Saints you wanted to mention.
There's a couple of things. Number one, there seems to be some sense of fear that people have of the Saints. And listen, they could come out and destroy some things, right? They could. That's possible. But
Jameis could be good.
Let's talk about, number one, we don't know what their rookie class is really going to offer. Let's be real. They did some reaching. They got some guys that probably, they haven't gotten the best record. When you look at what they believe, people believe the Saints draft was less than ideal. Like, it was not a good draft. All right. Let's take that into account. Let's talk about, they still have Jameis Winston as their quarterback. They still have Michael Thomas, who is one of the biggest distractions you're going to find in a locker room. And they
haven't played in over a year.
And they have Dennis Allen as their head coach, who, by the way, used to be the head coach of the Raiders and has a win percentage of 22.222. So he went 8 for. Well, hold on, let me tell you exactly what he went.
He's got a worse winning record than. He's worse than Matt Rhule.
Right, he's got a worse run. Yeah, he had 4 wins his first 2 years as a head coach, and he got fired after 4 games because he lost 4 in a row at the beginning of 2014. I'm not afraid of the Saints.
I'm not worried about the Saints. It's the Bucks and everybody else, isn't it?
The Bucks are the only people you need to worry about in the South right now. The Falcons have Ritter, which I don't know if you guys watched him. The dude said, the dude was so. I was watching him talk, and he was talking about, they had that little interview, and he goes, I first found out that I was going to be a dad when my girlfriend told me. No shit, fucking Sherlock. It was that's how everybody finds out.
Bland answer.
I'm just I'm listening to this guy talk, and I don't feel like, I'm not afraid of the Falcons at this point in time. They have a one weapon, and they have their other guy completely missing in action. They have a rookie wide receiver that some people think could be a possible, star in this league. We'll wait to see that because, who knows, depending upon who's playing quarterback.
Alvin Kamara potentially suspended for some games too.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think that all of a sudden we are the heads-on favorite to be number 2 in our division, but I think that the gap between us and the two teams other than the Bucks is not as far as people believe it to be. I'm not sweating the Saints, but the other God, I have one more. When it comes to that Ritter comment, like those blatantly obvious. I remember when I was in graduate school, I took this history class and this historiography class. It's like about the way historians, the study of history itself.
Right.
And we had you had to discuss other people's paper. You got to like you took somebody's research paper for the semester. They gave it to you a week early, and then we came back and everybody gave comments on the other person's paper. And this girl just destroyed this dude's paper. I mean, like it went on for so long. She talked, I mean, it was even at the end, she goes, and you didn't even have the wherewithal to end your paper with a period. It was just like, and we were all just like, oh God. And in that she goes, and what about this sentence right here? You wrote, Jefferson Davis was born at a young age. And I was, and we were all like, better than being born at 14. His poor mother. It's like Jefferson Davis was born at a young age. It's like I learned that my wife was pregnant when she told me she was pregnant. Ritter looks old too. He looks old. I don't care, man. I hope he stinks. I'm not worried. I hope he's terrible. All right, let's go to the next call.
Tony, Cody, and the gang. Hello, guys.
What's up, my
What
man?
are your thoughts on this Rock Hill situation where the Panthers were going to build a permanent team headquarters in Rock Hill? And I think it's a great idea, a permanent facility. But what's your slant on this, too? Do you think David Tepper's a greedy SOB? Or do you think that the city of Rock Hill just failed to live up to its commitments and not, put their portion into contribution? Now, mind you, in my opinion, I don't think that government should pay for billionaire sports teams, but they do it anyway. So anyway, tell me, what are your thoughts, feelings on that? And gentlemen, I've always felt that you guys emphasize the quarterback position too much. No quarterback could survive against that god-awful, terrible offensive line they had last year.
I mean, agree
now
to that.
they've got a stud left tackle. McCaffrey's back. J.C. Horn is going to be playing. And I think we could be optimistic this year. I would not be surprised if this team goes 10-6. Sam Darnold, he's a renaissance player, and this team makes the playoffs. So dream on. But what's your opinion on the Rock Hill headquarters and David Tepper? Think of this guy's a jackass schmuck, or perhaps he's a genius. We just don't know it yet. Bye-bye.
We are going to honor the position of the Rock Hill City Council and not going to hold this discord in a public forum.
Here's the thing. He asked the question, is Rock Hill wrong or is David Tepper a greedy SOB? Those two don't have to be mutually exclusive.
Right.
I think that Rock Hill didn't follow through on their bargain. And I agree with you. I'm a huge proponent that I don't believe that government should be, they can have incentives, sure, but I don't think the government should be providing that much assistance to help build a facility for a billionaire to be able to make more money. That's just not that's my personal opinion. But when governments do agree to it, I've changed my position on this. I think Rock Hill is in the wrong here. I do think that that they made an agreement and they weren't able to honor it. The part of it that's tough for me as a debt collector is also saying that we were in the middle of a pandemic and that agreement was established pre-pandemic and they were trying their hardest to make it happen, it sounds like. So it wasn't like Rock Hill just said, we're not paying you. It's just like, we're having a hard time coming up with the funds. So that's where I have a bit of issues.
If they would just need to renegotiate the timeline then.
Right.
It had to have been more than that.
Yeah. Sorry. And because I don't feel sorry for billionaires, but they didn't honor what they said. And there are some extenuating circumstances. We talked about this a lot in the last couple of podcasts. But the idea is that I think Tepper's net worth has gone up $6 billion since he bought the Panthers. Right. So is that I remember how much do you remember when he bought the Panthers in 2018, 2019? how much he was worth. Do you remember? I mean, he paid $3 billion cash. I want to say it was
Might
10.
be less now with this market going down.
I thought I heard 14 billion at one point.
I thought I just recently heard 16 billion. So if that's the case, if he was just say, if this is the case, is that in 2018 he was worth 10 billion, and 4 years later he's worth 16 billion. This dude is getting some returns on his investment. I do think a lot of that probably has to do with the value of the Panthers continuing to rise. Right? It's like all of a sudden that $3 million investment is probably a $5 million investment. That's one thing.
Yeah.
So he probably is greedy, but so is the NFL. So is everything. And the
I've
last
never
thing,
met a millionaire who gave away money.
yeah, and the last thing about the roster, I think you're right, is that's the whole good point about this is that at the very worst, we should be better than we were last year because of the offensive line alone. That was our weakness. That was the most central weakness out of the entire team was the offensive line, and more so than even the quarterback position.
Yeah, I mean, so real quick, shout out to Kevin Boshoven. He says, need to worry about Golden Corral and it's all you can eat buffet. I'm talking chocolate fountain. Kevin, you're a weirdo, dude. And I love that about you. I love that about you. And that is a nickname that I've been hearing more and more. People are wanting to call him Golden Corral.
I hate Golden Corral. I hate buffets.
Dude, look,
I'm not a fan of a buffet.
I hear everyone shitting on Golden Corral lately, dude. Listen, is it fancy gourmet food? No, but when you want to eat a bunch of shitty food for not a lot of money, you can do worse than Golden Corral.
Right.
Man.
No, that's the problem. Is that what I have a problem with buffets is the ethos of them. It's like the very concept of it is it's like gluttony. It becomes this challenge between you and like I paid $13, so now I have to beat this company.
Worth.
Yeah, and and then you look around. All right, so the reason I'm very passionate about this discussion because one of my kids likes to go. My mother-in-law occasionally likes to go to Golden Corral, and my kids love it because they get to choose everything. You know, they get total choice. And I'm like, whenever they say Golden, I'm like, please no. Here's another thing about why I don't like Golden Corral, the buffet, is that it's also the eclectic food vision that I have to then create. Like I have this mega salad, but then it's like I'm gonna have steak and shrimp and mashed potatoes and black eye, but like it's just like all the food just does it just doesn't match. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Exactly. And here is a pro Golden Corral tip though. Pro tip. I saw this little kid do this one time. Is that he went and got an ice cream cone, empty ice cream cone, and he filled it up with gummy bears and he hit the road. Like he walked out with an ice cream cone being his cup because you can't like pack a cup full of gummy bears and walk out, but you can pack down an ice cream cone of gummy bears. And he just took that out to the car and was like, I'm just going to snack on these all day, homie. I was like,
pretty smart. Yeah.
With you, kid. All right. I think G Baby wants one more chance. Shorter one.
Carolina just got desperate, man. Like they always fucking do. Always getting desperate, man. They saw Malik Willis falling. He was falling. Tennessee honestly fucked this shit up for us. Because Malik Willis should be a Carolina Panther. And that's pure
But
fact.
31 other teams passed on him, dude.
They saw
And you
fucking
could have
Malik
traded
Willis
up
get
for
fucking
him.
taken,
Then
and
you
they
should
saw
be upset.
Ritter got fucking taken. They got desperate as fuck. And so what did they do? Once again, gave up our fucking future to go for a fucking QB that's not even ready. That's a one-reach QB that turns the ball over. That's not even big. He ain't no 6'1". Dude barely looks 6 foot.
He is. He could be 6'4" for all we know,
Injury-prone.
according to stats.
You gonna walk into fucking college injured?
I love how
you're gonna walk into the NFL injured. That's just what
He's got to
happened.
get his breath, dude.
So somebody on this fucking podcast explain to me why I should be excited, bro. Somebody explain to me. Cody, like somebody explain to me why I should have faith in these guys when they haven't been able to get a QB right, not once, and now I'm supposed to believe that they're going to get this QB right that has alcohol problems, mental illness problems, that can barely fucking pass the ball.
All right. I'm going to end it there.
Barely pass the ball, bro.
Isn't that the point? Isn't that the point? Is like, what else could they? It clearly this wasn't the time to address the quarterback, and at the very worst, you got a potential backup quarterback. Like, you wouldn't be reaming the Pittsburgh Steelers for picking. They pick a quarterback in the 3rd, 4th round every year for the last 10 years, and we're not sitting there going, they're terrible.
Right.
You know, is that at the worst case scenario, it doesn't work out.
Right.
But you didn't. I mean, like, so what would have been the better alternative? Your other alternatives are Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't like that option. So, all right. The other option is to have traded up for Malik Willis, right? Or pick him in the 2nd. No, you would still have to trade up for him. You would have to trade up for him. And instead of they thought that the risk was still high enough in the reach that you still would have kind of been in the ballpark of where you're at. And so less risk, same reward in many ways. I wanted Malik Willis. I'm admitted that I wanted, because I had latched onto that name. That is the name that brought excitement and this and that. And I was, just the buzz. But at the end of the day, I can admit that a lot of my desire for him was simply because of the buzz surrounding the Zach Wilson, the Trey Lance type prospect. I recognize that factored into my emotion. But when I saw Willis slipping, I was interested in it. But at the same time, we didn't trade away our future at all. I actually put a short up that said that, and somebody was like, what are you talking about? I made that short before we picked Corral and we were talking about Mayfield. And I thought if we would have picked Mayfield, that would have been trading our future away if we wouldn't have gotten a quarterback. So I guess that the only G baby is, I guess, the only the way to answer your question is the Panthers, for them to satisfy your requirements, would have just not drafted a quarterback, sat pat, and tried to build the roster and just punted till next year.
Well, I mean, and the fact that he says that we gave up our future just factually isn't true. A 3rd round next year, and you know how much Scott Fitterer loves to trade back.
Is that what it was? A 3rd next year?
Yeah, it was a 3rd next year. I mean, the exact amount. The dude, it wasn't crazy, man. By the way, real quick shout out to Rob Mundy. He says people are forgetting what Rhule does his 3rd year. That's right. The 3rd year is normally the year when Matt Rhule turns it all around. But look, man, if G Baby doesn't want to like Matt Corral, he's not going to. But the fact of the matter is, he has a quick release. He's been proven to throw the ball 77 yards. The dude is mobile, can run his ass off, and he's 6'1" and 5'8". Like, that's taller than Drew Brees. That's taller than Russell Wilson. G Baby is listening to all the draft analysts tell him what they think about Matt Corral as a quarterback, and then is just using it to blame the coaching staff even further than we already do. This coaching staff has a ton to prove. No one is saying that they don't. But Matt Corral, from all the physical traits, the mental traits, the dude has it all, man. And there's a reason why most football publications are praising us for moving back into the 3rd round to pick him up. Last but not least, Kevin Boshoven with the $2 says, worst case scenario, we get some Golden Corral ads.
Maybe they get a Golden Corral in the stadium now.
Oh, that would be lit. I'm down.
Oh, it'd only be like an $89 buffet price, $89.
Yeah.
The last point of this is the thing to be optimistic and to have optimism about this front office and this and that. You just have to say they didn't fire Matt Rhule, and that's not the reason to be optimistic. We all thought I thought that was the right decision, this and that, but they didn't do it. So you have this head coach. He then had to go and make coaching decisions, like replacements. And it seems like he did a reasonably the best possible job you can consider for the situation he was in there. Then the offseason free agents was a reasonably sound step forward. And the draft seems like a reasonably strong move without overdoing it and overreaching. So I think those are all, hey, look, if you have to hit a grand slam for us to not be, if that's your requirement, then it's not going to happen. But I feel like we've hit some base hits.
Can
we got a man? We got a man on base. We moved him over on the bunt. There's a chance to knock a run in here.
Can we also agree that it is possible? I'm not saying it's likely, but it is possible that Matt Rhule has learned from being a bad coach and might be able to transition that into being a good coach. Those decisions that led us to where we're at now, a lot of them were from when he first became a head coach in the NFL, which I think we can all agree in hindsight is not a great idea the way he started to build the coaching staff, right? We're learning, he's learned, he's moving on, and I think it's not impossible for him to be a good coach, right? I think we all probably have the mindset that he isn't a good coach. But
yeah,
there
I mean,
is a
he's got to
possibility.
earn that. He has to earn that to
Right.
us. Like he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt right now.
Right. You know, he's got to earn it. But I think that the idea that we're not going to give him a shot to earn that if he's going to be a coach and go into this year thinking there's no shot that he's going to, like, I think you've got to have an open mind that, like, it's like when we got Sam Darnold. I think there were plenty of people who didn't like that idea. But to go into that season saying, oh, this is going to be the worst situation on the face of the planet, like, I think we all maintain some level of optimism, right?
Yeah,
we did it with
speak it
Teddy
into
Bridgewater.
existence.
Like we were looking for things with Teddy Bridgewater. Maybe Teddy Bridgewater can come in here and be the same guy he was before his knee injury, right? There's still some skepticism, but we weren't sitting there like literally just destroying that decision. Like we were like, maybe he can do something. We didn't like the fact that Cam Newton was cut in his favor, right? But we were like, you know, hey, maybe he can come in here, maybe he can produce. And then we didn't like shut him off immediately. Like the idea to shut off Matt Corral or even Matt Rhule before the season even begins with all of these what seemingly look like positive movements, like I think right now is a good time to be an optimistic Panthers fan. And it sucks to be an optimistic Panthers fan because guess what? We ultimately get disappointed. But you know what? I would rather go into every season like a Browns fan saying we're going to win the Super Bowl this year with no evidence that that's going to be true. Instead of being somebody who just thinks our team's going to suck for the rest of the
Have you
True that, man. And that's what G Baby I think needs to learn a little bit, man. Dude, when you have these young, talented players, give them some faith, man. Believe in them. Give them some time to work out. And real quick, we got some more donations rolling in, man. Kevin Boshoven with the $2 says we can get Rattler if it don't work out. Cody's BFF? Hell no. You can keep that Rattler shit, bro. And then Jarrett Cole with the $5. He says that will end Bojangles for sure by serving Golden Corral buffet.
I don't know. I'll take Bojangles over Golden Corral any day of the week.
Really? Y'all hate Golden Corral that bad, man?
Golden Corral? No. I like Golden Corral, but Bojangles is phenomenal.
I don't like the whole prospect of it. Have you guys seen that? I got to watch a lot of ads these days with my Hulu and stuff. I get the same ads over and over. Have you seen it's like a drive safe where the girl, she's in the car and she's just screaming like, ah! And then they go, you're on speaker. And she goes, they're like, they go, she didn't know. And she said, but I know now. And they were like, do you feel better? And it's about like dry. I don't know. Have you guys haven't seen this? All right. So this girl, she's just screaming. And I just feel like that's like G Baby making the call a little bit. But my thing about this is I want everybody to do, if that would make you feel better to get in the car and just yell, like to get the tension and the stress out, I want you to channel this exercise, right? If that would help you, like
masturbation.
No. Imagine, try to reenact a G Baby call in a world where we didn't pick a quarterback this year. Imagine what G Baby's call would have been if we would have walked through this whole draft and we didn't have a quarterback picked.
It would have been him freaking out that we didn't trade into the second to get Malik Willis, who has identical problems that you would probably say Matt Corral has. with like, yes, he has a lot of upside, but that's exactly what you're talking about.
I want G Baby to do that call. G Baby, next week I want you to call in and I want to hear the G Baby anger if we would have just been like, nah, we good. we on this Sam Darnold trip.
No, they're gonna pretend to be all happy, but you know damn well he would have been.
Oh God, it would have been like our hair
He
would have
ain't got
been
no
blown back.
motherfucking quarterback, y'all.
No, all right, next call.
Hey boys, it's Connor.
Oh, what's up, Connor? Sorry.
So I'm super
I hope you're in
excited
bed.
for him to go into to training camp because I'm very excited to watch him. And I also want to say, I mean, he deserves a chance to at least compete for the starting job. I mean, I think he's a lot more talented than Sam. And I also think that if we give him a good opportunity to compete, if we give him the majority of the reps, if we get him just as much reps as Sam Darnold, if not more, I think he could be a legitimate day one guy. Now we gotta train him a lot. He's gotta train hard. This training camp, he's gotta learn the playbook. But overall, I think he could. But I think if we do the right thing with him, I think he could be a day one starter if we teach him right. Anyway, boys, I'll see you. I hope.
G-Baby asked for anybody on this podcast to tell you why to think about it. And I just got to say, we elected Connor.
Yeah, Connor did it, dude.
Connor
Connor's the best at explaining everything simply.
All right,
for everyone
next
to
call.
understand.
Oh man!
It's your boy Mike.
Got me.
I thought I'd start the call with something different this time. Anyways, what's going on, boys?
What's poppin', bro?
How we feeling, Panther Nation?
Well, either relaxed or stressed
I
as a
noticed,
mother.
you're feeling kind of rejuvenated out here in these streets.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause it was getting bad, you know, like as Panther fans, you know, as Panther brethren, we were
my
we
brother.
were pretty divided. The season ended, and man, it was tough goings there for a second. But just that's what you gotta love about the NFL. You know, every new season, it's a different ball game. I fucking love it, guys. I'm feeling the draft. Let's see, we got a good draft. I give it an A+. I know everybody's dogging Matt Corral for his size, but I mean he can put on a little bit more weight over a season or 2 or 3, and he's about almost 6'2". People think he's short. Let me give you a list of Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. All right, that were 6'2" or shorter. You got Drew Brees. You got Russell Wilson. You got Steve Young. You got Kurt Warner, Brett Favre. I mean, they were only 6'2" or shorter. And some of them were, if not all of them, were MVPs of the Super Bowl. So I'm not trying to hype this man up yet, but we'll see what happens. It's a good day in Panther Nation again. So keep pounding Panther pride till I die.
Let's go.
If you juxtaposed Supreme Leader's delivery and temperament and tone, right, with G-Baby's, I think we just had
The
Johnny.
opposite.
I think Supreme Leader is to Johnny Depp as
G-Baby
is the Amber Heard. That is my
full circle.
Oh man.
Read out this super chat.
Yeah, my man Kevin Boshover coming back with another 5. Says Jake DeLone representing Bojangles, Matt Corral representing Golden Corral in Mortal Kombat. Cue the techno music. Let's go, dude.
I got my Mortal Kombat sound effects right
Nice. Good shit.
now.
Good shit.
Yeah, I went and
Flawless
downloaded this one
victory.
immediately.
I was wondering. I was like, because you played at the same time. I was like, I didn't remember having both of them.
Yeah, this is Paul. I was calling in to let you know what I thought about the draft. I don't see Matt Corral getting the starting position even in the preseason. We've got too much invested in Sam Darnold. I know Matt Rhule's on the hot seat, but it seems to me with what's happened the last 2 years with Matt Rhule as the coach, clearly what happened this year in the draft, Fitterer took all power and probably gave Matt Rhule a little bit of leeway in the decision-making process, but it was clearly Fitterer who was making all the decisions. And so I think because of that and what they're trying to do, I'm not quite sold that Tepper is going to strip the job from Rhule. I mean, I know clearly we think he's on the hot seat, but that could change, especially if they start winning. But I don't think they're going to win with Matt Corral right now. But he's a great prospect. He needs to sit for a while. The other option that we got in the first round, obviously the prospect that we got in Ekwonu, that's a home run because he's the best pass blocker and best run blocker in the draft. And I think he's going to be here for the next 10, 12 years. But having that and solidifying the O-line obviously is going to make Darnold better, should. Now, in the case that Darnold does not improve his game with the O-line that has been bolstered up, that would be a cause of concern. And that would probably be a coaching question mark because we've brought in some talent.
Or a
so now we
Darnold
just have to
question
think
mark.
what's going on there and if Matt Rhule's brought in the right pieces for the coaching staff. And then we could look at, him being on the hot seat, but I don't think right now he's on the hot seat. I think right now he's kind of in a safe zone, which is kind of surprising. But I think after what's happened, Fitterer taking all the power and control, really Fitterer pulling pulling the trigger on all these pieces that they've added this year. So that's my take. I'm looking forward to it, but I think we're going to have a decent season, and I think we're still going to miss the playoffs, unfortunately. But we're in that rebuild mode, so it'll be interesting.
I think Supreme Leader needs to go for Halloween as Johnny Depp. And be like,
he has the hair to do it.
yeah, and the the meter, like of your voice, or like the rhythm. And it'd be like, and when I woke up in the morning, I looked over and there was G-Baby's human fecal matter by my head. Have you guys been watching that mess? I mean, I've watched an embarrassing amount or listened or read about it, but it was just like Johnny Depp when he said that, he was like, and then I woke up.
And there was fecal delivery.
And it's just so like it's like he's trying to hypnotize us. All right, next call.
What's up, C3? Zach Simmons. It's my first time ever calling in, but
What's up, Jack?
I have to say I love this draft a lot. We got great value for Corral for sure. I think he may be able to, bring us back to a good team again finally. But we fixed our biggest issue in the O-line, which is great. The best thing about the draft is we didn't draft another long snapper. My question to y'all is, are we finally going to cut one of the long snappers we have? But I have a challenge to beat Joey the Blind Panther in the Roar, so I'm going to try it out.
Oh, snap.
That's another Carolina Panthers first down. Wow.
Dang.
All right.
I mean, he brought it. He had
Hey,
Echo
that's
to his
respectable, man.
He brought Echo.
In the blue corner, waiting.
Now, here we got a super chat. We appreciate you guys. A lot of support tonight. Black Ball and Music Group. Man, I'm gonna go check out y'all's YouTube channel right away. Y'all check out Black Ball and Music Group. You can go ahead and write in the chat. Let them know how they can find you. Big addition is Andre Roberts. I knew there was a receiver that we had added. Right? I couldn't remember. It helps flips the field defense and helps offense with the short field. So yeah, thank you for your support. Look, I expect this team to be better at all phases. And last year, kickoffs and punt returns were not a strength of this team at all. Chris Tabor, we brought in a very experienced special teams coach, right? When it comes to this guy did 10 years, I believe. No, 4 years, 10 in Cleveland, and then 4 in Chicago. And under his time, he's got some really notable accomplishments of what the special teams for those teams did at the time. Shout out to Jarrett Cole. Also, this offensive line has to be much better. Vote James Campen for president. And also, G-Baby, you can start making the James Campen for head coach calls right away. I mean, I think that would be so those are all things that are heading in the right direction. That long snapper is likely going to be on the practice squad again. The number is 252-228-5098.
What up, C3? It's Jason.
What's up,
I
Jay?
would use Ikem at his strongest. Where he's good at is tackle. Wouldn't keep flopping them throughout the offensive line. We did. What have we done like that? Have Mo done that before? I believe we tried putting him at guard. We tried other tackles throughout the offensive line. I just don't like messing with, like, just keep them at their strong pursuit and just rock with it. Christensen, I don't know what everybody else sees, but we all have our opinion about where we want Christensen. But I will put Ikem at tackle and Christensen at guard. That's why I've seen a few plays of him being good at. I've seen him get worked at tackle so many times. I don't believe that's his strong suit, but
who's that? Christensen?
Anyways, keep going.
Yeah,
we had a very small sample set from him, though. So I mean, look, you're very right. It's like maybe we should just keep this simple. Just put Ekwonu right where he's where we drafted him play.
Well, and somebody pointed out in the chat earlier too that tackle is for pass protection, is more for pass protection, guards more for run blocking, which is is a fair point, I guess. To assume they're all for pass protection and run blocking, but I could see that statement, and we definitely need more pass protection, more solid pass protection than we do run blocking.
I will say it won't surprise me if they decide that they want their identity to be a physical run-first football team with McCaffrey and Deontay Foreman. I really don't think that it would be a bad idea to put them at left guard and just let them roam and cause havoc up the field and just run right up people's guts. We have a lot of different options available to us. Shout out to Kevin once again. He says, last super chat of the night, strawberry lemonade vodka smoothies are strong, but not as strong as these Panthers led by Golden Corral. Fuck Gretzky's kid. Love it.
I want to thank all the donors tonight. A lot of people very generous with their not only the super chats and their money, but even more impressive to me is how many people have been generous with their time and their insight tonight. Not only with the calls, but the great chat that we're having, and the over. At one point, I mean, like we're at 200 people and we've been going 2.5 hours, and this is just dipped under 200. So your time is worth just as much. And there are other ways. I saw somebody mention that they don't like the super chat, and that is understandable. They do take a big cut, but you can find other ways to donate in the show notes as well. There's a scrolling bar right here, and those are ways to directly donate. And then we can divvy those up and reapply them to the show. That is, but still, the time and the energy. And here's one that's free. You don't got to donate. Smash that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the show. Check us out and all the other content we do. When we get, when we putting these shorts up, when we're putting these other things, sharing the link on your social media, on Facebook, and Reddit, if you hang out there, wherever you hang out and talk Panthers, our own Discord. Sharing content right there is an easy way to support the show. Let's go to the next call.
Hey guys, this is
former President Bill Clinton giving you a thumbs up. This draft was a thumbs up draft, glittering generality. We're going to do it. Thumbs up. Hey, guys, this is Chuck from Elizabeth City, a.k.a. Carolina Sports Guy. I just really want to give a shout-out to how refreshing it is to have a general manager who knows what the hell he's doing. Now, you might not hit on every pick. And surely in the 7th round, I was looking for a backup safety, like Smoke Monday. But, few and far between. I really like the draft for what we did. I know people are complaining and saying that, we wasted a pick on a quarterback. And the whole Baker Mayfield situation, they're just turning every rock, folks, trying to see what we can do. But you just got to look at what our offensive line was last summer, and we knew we were in trouble before training camps started. And it seems to be a strength now. And we did it through free agency, smart moves, and the luck of the draft and where we landed in people not picking our guy, Ickey. So I'm ecstatic. I kind of with a tempered expectations because every time we end up having these situations, we think we're going to be better than we are and we don't. But honestly, guys, I'm fine if we can finish around 500. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll win 5 or 6 games. But if we can finish 8, 9 wins, I feel it's a win-win, and we'll be getting better. I'm not even worried about Rhule. The situation will play itself out. I'm not worried about Tepper. But it is really nice to have a competent GM. And my hat's off to Scott Fitterer for being patient and just doing his job. It's so much better than having an incompetent Hurney or Gettleman. So that's all I got to say, guys, is I'm just happy about Fitterer.
Appreciate. Yeah, actually, I think that has been one of the things. Maybe towards our optimism, going back to G Baby's challenge of things to think about is maybe that there's been a little bit more concerted divvying up of responsibility, and it isn't. As you're starting to delegate, and I feel like maybe Fitterer is settling into his role, and there's a confidence that he can execute that. Maybe Tepper is sitting down a little bit. C-Dog, is that on Cash App? It is True King 1111. And you can also find Cody's PayPal in the scroll too, folks. And
PayPal.me/Cody Lack.
We'll get him a Cash App soon. That's what we got. Man, Cash App is popular. They like that. It is easy, man. PayPal. I love PayPal. Like, I love that company. I love everything they do, particularly with online purchasing and stuff. Yep. But they really do need to make their share peer-to-peer platform a little bit less cumbersome. 252.
I do need a Cash App, though.
Yeah. All right. Next call. Not saying the number again.
Hey, guys.
Joey,
growl that makes him howl.
Dang,
and I got something to say to G Baby. Bless his heart. You know what? I think me and Danielle and Lynn can help us too if she wants. Ought to team up and beat his bitch ass and take his Bojangles. And then he's going to have to live with it. He's going to have to go home and tell his buddies on the block that he got beat up for his Bojangles by a big fat blind guy who can't fight.
Hold on.
Anyway, guys. Wow.
Joey the Blind Panther is like he's kind of like Dave Chappelle and Chappelle Show when he was the blind white supremacist KKK guy and he was black. Is Joey the Blind Panther thinks he's black. All right, next call.
Yes, this is G Infant and Jameis Winston. The Saints. I'm G Infant.
He said that's G. He called him G Infant.
That's G Infant.
Next call.
I just got to be the voice of excitement, man.
All right.
I need to say that what people just like, I guess they don't see because they just stuck on looking at all the negatives, all the trials and tribulations that we went through with a rookie coach. in Matt Rhule, and the majority of rookie coaches come from college. So I don't want to hear about no college head coaches and none of that.
All right. Good
I'm
point.
looking at the roster we have right now. Okay, as far as Matt Corral, a power back with CMC, a shutdown corner with Brian Burns, and plenty of other stars on the defense ready to take another level. Jeremy Chin. We don't know what Xavier Woods coming here and do. He might blow up. Dante might stop letting his speed. Anything liable to happen. Then you're gonna have Matt Rhule, who I agree made a lot of stupid mistakes, but we were trash when this man came to us his first year. I don't give a damn what nobody say. All we had was CMC and Brian Burns. What are we at? Nothing else to talk
Cam
about.
Newton,
We
Luke
were
Euclid.
trash. Okay? He lost. He won 5 with Teddy, and he won 5 with Sam. He tried. he struck out 2 times. Now, I don't want to. I ain't here to boost Matt Corral. Cause we gonna see the preseason. Forget what you're talking about. Sam is gonna be Sam. God, you give him a line, he might be a little bit better with CMC staying healthy and God forbid Horn breaking another foot or getting injured. But if those two stay healthy, we're going to win games, bro. I don't understand what people talking about. Just lose, and just win 3 games and get Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. Bro, listen, we have a top defense already. Okay, we just packed the whole defensive line up with nothing but good, strong, competent players. Matt Ioannidis is damn near Pro Bowler, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, listen, Derek Brown can blow up any time. Brian Burns gonna do him. All right, YGM liable to blow up. What I'm saying is, we is not a team with garbage talent. We missing one thing that's taking us to the playoffs, and that's quarterback. Okay,
good call.
Regardless,
Awesome call.
hey yo, I can go for days, and I'm done. I'm done with this one. But Matt Rhule has built this roster to one that is ready to compete on whatever stage. This defense can deal with Tom Brady, can deal with Pat Mahomes, we can deal with Josh Allen, we can deal with Aaron Rodgers, bro. We can deal with whatever you want come. Our defense.
We do have.
It took him 3 drafts. It took that man 3 drafts now. 3 drafts. Turned the whole team around.
Well,
I don't understand what people ain't looking at. Like, damn, it's about the build. It's about the process. It's about the structure you build while you building a roster. And when you this how you look. This how you judge a coach. Damn, how all these fans. These fans probably never played football. Okay, I didn't have scouting jobs for colleges, not NFL, mind you. Okay, but I've studied players. I've studied traits. I've studied techniques. I've studied methods in the game. So when we talk about these coaches, bro, we're gonna fuck up. That's a part of the program. You want him to fuck up because this is how you grow. This is how you get smarter. I don't understand.
All right, man, I love that comment. There's a lot, like a run of calls that just came in. I appreciate it. I think there's some good points there. I think is that probably the truth is somewhere in the middle, right? Is that we really do need to see that I like the call, but I thought last year was a regression. So if we can see him improve the team and make up for last year's regression, then I think a lot of that's going to be true. Somewhere in the middle is the team I do think is getting better. And that was my point about talking about wide receivers earlier, is that a group that we don't think we should talk about, I think is arguably not the strongest group on our team. So I think that's kind of alluding to that some other position groups have really improved over the past few years. That's what I was trying to say. Let's go to the next call. All right, too quiet. Next call.
Hey guys, it's the growl that makes him howl again. And yes, I do want to take G Baby's Bojangles. I really do, because he's a Panther hater that masquerades as a fan, and those annoy me. So as Eminem said, I've been sent here to destroy you. Anyway, I want to talk about the draft. I think it was a great draft. I think I did not expect us to actually get a quarterback, which I'm glad we did because Sam Darnold, is Sam Darnold. So we got the offensive lineman I wanted, and I wanted Ickey specifically because he was from NC State, and I went to school next to that. And they used to do a lot of stuff with us blind people, and we used to enjoy the hell out of it because often that would mean that hot girls would come on campus. So
How would
we
you
enjoyed
know?
that. But yeah, and he's from Charlotte, and he's a Panthers fan. He's part of Panther Nation. So that's great. And so what a quarterback likes to drink. I like to drink. I mean,
As long as you don't like to drink as much as me.
Now. I mean, G Baby probably drinks because how do you cope with emotions like that?
He does smoke.
In all seriousness, though, like adversity like that can often make people. Often, it can hurt people, yes, but it can also make them better people and better at whatever they do. So there's that, and then every other pick he likes. So I don't know what his problem is. He just needs to get his ass beaten and get mugged for his Bojangles. Anyway,
Damn.
guys, without further ado, I forgot the caller that did it. And yes, that was a decent roar. I actually have to give him credit for how good that roar was, but it's not as good as. Wow.
Damn, he had that one built up.
I know. It's the roar off. It's the growl off. Next call.
Hey,
and I'm done with this, right? My bad. Okay, because I this whole fucking off season, motherfuckers just been talking shit about my dog Rhule. You know what I'm saying? He damn near be timid to come on and talk.
We appreciate it.
We gotta show both sides, man. It's the pro
Okay, you may go. All right.
And I'm done with this, right? My bad. Okay, because I this whole fucking off season, motherfuckers just been talking shit about my dog Rhule. You know what I'm saying? He damn near be timid to come on and talk. He's watching. It looks like it's bothering him. It looks like it's bothering him. You know what I'm saying? It looks like these bitch ass fans saying this bitch ass shit about him because, you know what I'm saying? We come to a trash ass team, so, a lot of his mistakes and his bad choices is going to just blow up because we already terrible. I mean, come on, man. Let's be realistic. All right? The man came to a trash ass team. Off top, he went defense the whole first draft. He knew he had to build this. He knew the main process was to build this team through the draft and smart signings in the free agency. He made some bad ones. That come with the program. Good come with the bad. The bounce of life, bro. The bounce of life. But guess what? He made more hits than he failed. As far as my concern, he failed on who? Eddie? His Sam. Robbie, some people might differ Robbie. We had one bad year with Sam. I put that more on Sam than Robbie. I have to say, like, him and obviously him and Sam ain't clicking. You know what I'm saying? And who blame Robbie for that when he came and got 1,000 with Teddy? So I guess, you know what I'm saying, that's debatable. That's debatable. You know what I'm saying? But Robbie is a good player. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what you want to say, you give him a good quarterback, he's gonna, you know what I'm saying? He is a viable target. Period. Point blank period. Okay. What? Hassan Reddick was a hit. You okay? Hassan Reddick was a hit. Sean Chandler, I really don't care for him. Matt Ioannidis. Temple, another player, coach. We know that's a hit on Temple. I already know. I don't watch tape on Matt built like that. That's another player with Matt. I mean, come on, man. The coach is coach. Back up off the man. You know what I'm saying? Look, this year, defense is going to be dominant. Bottom line. I don't care what happens at the linebacker position. Shaq, and Corey Littleton is enough to maintain composure. You know what I'm saying? With Horn shutting shit down, with Dante stepping his game up, with CJ and Keith Taylor in the cut. Then you got Chris Westry and Miles Hartfield in the safety position lockdown. And the defense is gonna be doing a bunch of shuffling. Bro, we straight, bro. The defense gonna be dominant. So there's nothing to worry about. Bro, the offense is gonna take its time. Sam's gonna fuck up within the 4 or 5 games. And guess what? We already gonna know what Matt built like before the season starts. So it depending on what he's doing the preseason.
All right, man. I like the optimism. I like the optimism right there. Next call.
Hey, this is Kevin from Charleston. I'm a bit drunk. Have some strawberry lemonade smoothies with some vodka.
Okay.
But I'm here to defend the honor of Golden Corral against the slanders of Tony. How dare you, sir? How dare you? Trash? Are you kidding me? The greatness of Golden Corral, the greatest restaurant that's ever lived.
Like CK's delivery.
I mean, my God, Jeff Foxworthy is a spokesman for it. How can it not be great? Excuse me, sir, but you owe Golden Corral
an apology.
A great apology. This is Kevin Boschoven, the greatest drunk Panther fan of the night. Sorry, Danielle. I am.
He is the most
Signing
generous.
off.
He is the most generous.
Yeah, him and Danielle are having a drunk off in the chat. They're tying one on.
All right. Next call. Last one of the night.
Hey, it's me, C-Dog, 1983.
C-Dog.
Man? The starting off was saying, make sure you hit the motherfucking like button.
Hey, hit the thumbs up.
Trying to the show. You
Thank
guys
you.
always very consistent with their Tuesday shows, Friday shows, and the draft shows. I think we had a good draft. Besides like everybody getting on G Baby. Remember, the G Baby was being correct. Fitterer said he was going to give up no future draft picks, and they did it again. This 2 years in a row, we done give up a future draft pick.
See, I'm not bad on that. I got that wrong.
On the pan out and everything. But one thing was very intriguing to me is Kurt Warner. And did this thing on quarterbacks on YouTube. I had to just cross it yesterday to be at the corral, probably the algorithm, whatever. But man, Kurt Warner, his favorite quarterback in his draft, even though it was a quarterback draft, was Matt Corral. And he did a part 1 and part 2. If anybody in the live chat want to go watch it and check it out, it was very intriguing to me. You know, he just like how he get the ball out real fast. He made real quick decisions and everything. I'm good. we're gonna see, man. He just look like an ass, you know. But everybody get off G Baby, man. G Baby just, you know, you're a real fan, man. And then C-Dog get,
yeah,
you know, I get like that sometimes too, man. You know, tired of watching these boys lose. They don't want to be going out here buying jerseys and going to the game, spending money. That shit costs.
It does.
You know?
You're right.
We're just fans being passionate, man. So we want to win, you know. But I mean, we'll see though. It's probably not really last year anyway, but we'll see, man. It's probably been long enough for everybody. Like I said in the draft, I got a good draft though. I said I give it a C plus, man. C plus, B minus. This could be trade off for Corral both sides. I can't complain. You know, we got offensive lineman. Ickey could probably be a Hall of Fame left guard. I like the Cade, the offensive lineman from Tennessee Trees. And that's about all, folks. Everybody have a great night. Make sure you hit the motherfucking like button and subscribe.
Man, thanks for the call. Thanks for the support. And you're right. You know, what you've brought up is something I saw Pat Coltrane talking about recently. Something I've, you know, kind of emphasized when we started this show a lot is like, I don't really care for gatekeeper fans too much. Like here, if you want to be a bandwagon fan, be a bandwagon fan. If you want to hate on this, then you hate on this. If you want to love on this, you love on this. That's why I don't get into the true fan discussion too much. It's like here is I'm not the gatekeeper, so you fan how you want to fan. That's why they call them fanatics. So G Baby, you can your passion brings a lot to the show, just like in things like that. So it would be if everybody had the same opinion, it would be a boring 3 hours, right? And that's the reason it's not 30 minutes and it's 3 hours. Man, tremendous show tonight. I'm not going to talk about anything. We'll talk about the undrafted rookie free agents next week. We've got one last segment to get through, and that is our ice up picks. I don't think we've missed any real topics that can't wait until the Friday free for all, and as well as the following week. So great show tonight. Thanks for all the support, man. A lot of monetary support, a lot of just support with chat and your time. Like I said, thanks for that. That means so much. And just pay it forward continually by sharing it and interacting with us on social media. Guys, who's ready for ice up?
I am. If you would like
right.
me to just go first, and unless someone else wants to jump
the
on.
ice. Go ahead. You're ready. If you're ready, go.
Yeah. So it's always easy to ice up Sleepy Joe Biden. And again, man, I'll reiterate, it's not even political. This has absolutely nothing to do with politics and everything to do with the American president is a geriatric man whose consciousness is slowly slipping away from him.
Their luxury home, ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Kleptocracy. The guys who are the kleptocracy.
What? Dude, so he's trying to talk about what's going to happen to the Russian oligarchs as a result of, I guess, whatever the hell NATO is doing. And he's trying to talk.
Another ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Kleptocracy. The guys who are the kleptocracy.
Kleptocracy? A kleptocracy? Are they like kleptomaniacs? I wonder what a kleptocracy
is. This guy can't talk. He can't form a sentence. And it's at that point where it's like, you don't want to laugh because you feel like you're being mean to an old man that can't help it.
Well, you get a pass. You get the cripple pass. You can do whatever.
I give no fucks about it at all, dude. That dude is fucking losing his mind. And it's also absurd that, yeah, that's our president, man. The last two presidents in a row have been absolutely the person that America deserves.
Ice up. Ice up. Just somebody in the comments last week or when we did the last Biden video where we're all giggling like crazy, I couldn't stop laughing. They said you got to do the same for the other side. And I didn't engage them in the comments. And I like, here's the thing is, don't worry. We made fun of Donald Trump plenty in the 4 years he was on here. Is that you just, it's like this. We don't got to go pick somebody out. We make fun of all types of people in the ice up segment. Anybody else got one?
Yeah, I'll toss one out there. I was actually going to go kind of a little political with that, and it was going to have to do with that same clip, but I kind of put a backup one on here because it seemed like low-hanging fruit, and I'm just going to ice up people who emphasize on the Wonderlic score so much.
Tony.
Well, I hate to say it, like, have you ever read any questions from it?
No.
Okay, so
I thought it was like a puzzle solving.
There's a practice test. I'm going to read you the first question, and you tell me what this has to do, what this tells you about a guy and how he can play football. Let me start the quiz. Okay, first question. Wait, why won't it let me do? Hang on. I had it on here a second ago.
Your Wonderlic score is terrible.
It's terrible. All right, so start quiz. Here we go. Okay, first question. Emma and Anna went to the market to buy 25 fruits. Emma got a few apples that cost $2 each, and Anna bought some oranges that cost $3 each. If their combined total is $60, how many oranges did Anna get?
A few. And a few. So I would say 6 and 6. And I don't know. I mean,
dude, this is too late for my ass to be doing math.
My main question is, I'm sure we could all figure this out.
What's the answer? Does it tell you the answer?
No, because I haven't taken the test yet. I was looking at the first question.
Okay.
But my point is, what does this have to do with the football?
Being a quarterback, right?
What does that have to do with being a
it's
quarterback?
Like some sort of aptitude or intelligence test, right? Or you're right.
Yeah. And I get it. I guess in some senses it works. It's the same way. It's when I joined the post office, they did the same kind of thing, asked the same kind of questions. Army was the same kind of way. like it's just a structure I guess they follow, and I don't know what's behind it that makes you seem that way, but it just seems like a very broad spectrum of nothing to judge somebody on, So I just, Wonderlic, ice up.
Yeah. All right. Cody, you got anything? I got some good ones tonight.
Ooh.
And CK, and you got to stick around for mine.
I don't have anything in particular. I'll tell you that. So my wife has been dealing with some intense nausea. It's been happening since about Friday, and I got out. She woke up.
Is she pregnant?
No, she's not.
Guess what? You know the only way you'll know if she tells you.
Exactly. Well, but she woke up. She was feeling nauseous. She wanted me to call out for work. I'm like, I can't do it. I just can't. She had a full mental breakdown over this, full on. It was ridiculous, and because I wouldn't call out. You know what? She tried to go into work that day. After she made me call out, I'm like, what the? No. I ain't about to have been home. And anyway, so to my wife for making me call out of work, ISO.
Wow.
We should have a service where G Baby calls yells the ice up picks or calls people up and tells I can't believe that you tried to get CK to call out. All right. Here is first I got to do this for Cody real quick. Is this because this is probably going to have to be God, did I put it in? Oh, it opened in a different window. Hold on. Where did it go? YouTube. Oh, here it is. You seen this one?
Yes, I've seen that. Oh no, I haven't seen the.
This one's good. This one's good. All right, watch this. Watch this Secret Service agent. Watch him. He's like, all right, go down this pathway right here. Now watch President Biden.
Oh, look down that way.
This is what's right by it.
And he just keeps following.
Off the sidewalk onto the grass.
He's following that Secret Service agent, dude. He's like, I'm with you. I'm rolling with you. I don't feel safe. So I thought that was a fun one. And that wasn't an ice up pick. I just saw it today. I was like, I gotta show Cody this. But here's my ice up pick. This is my ice up pick right here. And the first time I ice up the bazillion people that retweeted and liked one of the best tweets in the whole world, and then didn't follow this person. I think it's a man. I can't tell if it's a man or a man. It looks like, but this person had 100,000 retweets or something like this, and they have less than 4,000 followers. How can this? And this is one of the greatest tweets. So Laura Ingraham is fighting back against loan forgiveness, and I don't care what we think when it comes to loan forgiveness, what they think, your opinion on it. Laura Ingraham doesn't like it. All right. So she tweets out, so I am icing up Laura Ingraham, and I think Daylip at DLIPARTITO said it very well. She tweeted, my mom worked as a waitress until she was 73 to help pay for our college, even helped with loan repayment. Loan forgiveness, just another insult to those who play by the rules. This is what DeLip said in response. You graduated Dartmouth in 1985. Your mother died in 1999. From 1985 to 1999, you worked as a presidential speechwriter, an editor, and after law school in 1991, clerked for a U.S. Circuit judge and was an associate for one of the largest law firms in the country. Yet you let your mother work as a waitress and depended on her to help you pay your loans until her death? Either you are a horrible person or a liar. I'm going with both. This is like the most savage response to this ever. Holy cow. So to you, Laura Ingram, who does not like Eastern North Carolina barbecue sandwiches, ice up. I know.
Wait, hold on. The math
story.
on that doesn't add up.
What?
So she said she worked till she was 73, but the woman died in 1999.
So she didn't die at 73. The point
Right.
is that so we don't know. She died in 1999.
We don't know how old she was when she died.
Right.
Though.
Exactly.
Right. But what this person is saying, from the time of her graduation in college from Dartmouth, which was 1985, 14 years went by. She went by and had all of this success, and somehow still made her mom pay for her college.
Right, but I'm saying like helped her pay for the loan. Like I get the thought, but like I feel like this is a bit of a reach to assume that the mother was helping her pay for college throughout all that stuff. Like she never said that in the middle of that.
Well, the question is, we need to know is how old, what year was this woman?
What year did she die? Yeah.
No, she died in
1999.
1999.
How old was she when she died? I guess we could
I
find out.
promise you this: if she was 73, what is 73 plus 14? 87. So if she died after she older than 87, then she was 73 before 1985 or in 1985. I don't know. Anyway, I thought this was a cool tweet. I thought it was funny.
Nice.
Laura Ingram, you stink. Ice up. All right, that's the C3. Yeah, I mean, I iced her up about 6 years ago. 7. She came to Greenville, North Carolina, in my town, and she was campaigning for Donald Trump. So this would have been 2016, and she was like so excited. So the rumor was that she was excited to get one of these barbecue sandwiches from Eastern North Carolina, which are dope, right? And we got bees here, and somebody brought it, and she wouldn't eat it. She looked at it and was like, "I'm not eating that shit." I was like, "Don't trust you unless you got it. Unless eating pork is a religious thing. If it's just by choice, when it comes to not eating a barbecue sandwich, I ain't gonna trust you in North Carolina." Barbecue and noun here, folks. Barbecue and noun. All right, that's the C3 Panthers podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. We are growing and growing and growing, folks. Oh, man, and we've got the best audience in the world. We've been developing this great community. You can call in throughout the week at 252-228-5098. You can follow me on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. You can find the podcast on all the major podcasting platforms, Spotify to TuneIn to Stitcher to iTunes. If you listen there, we really appreciate that you give it a rating and just tell people about it and continue to engage. Man, every time somebody says, "I like this podcast" on social media, it leads to somebody else that hadn't heard about the podcast. That helps us grow. Cody Lack, tell them how they can get after you.
Yeah, man. Find me on Twitter. You see it right there at Cody Lack, CODYLAC. Man, tonight we had more than 260 viewers most of the time tonight. C3 Panthers podcast continues to grow, continues to add more viewers and subscribers. Hit that like button if you haven't already, man. It helps us to grow, helps us to, continue to make the best Panther content that we possibly can. So I appreciate all the love. And by the way, Kevin Boshoven, he donated one last time, and he says, more tits.
And
last
ass.
one, I'm done. Yeah, tits and ass.
All right,
But I don't blame him, tits and ass.
Hey, who doesn't like a good barbecue sandwich? All right, CK.
You can find me at Code Dizzle Allen on most social media platforms. I stream on the Facebook gaming side of things. I do it once a week currently as I'm working on some stuff. But come check it out and shoot me a follow, and let's start a conversation on the Twitter sphere now that free speech is going to be a real thing again.
Yeah.
There you go.
The Bat Daddy.
Yeah, you can find me at the BatDaddy52 on Twitter, or you can check out my show on Friday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. It's the Super Civil Servants podcast. This week we're talking about Halo and Picard, both season 1 finales, continued coverage of Moon Knight, and I get to see Doctor Strange this week, so we're going to talk about that too. It's going to be fun stuff.
Gear up that Batman podcast. I want to come on and talk about that as some more episodes come out. I listened to both of them today.
I'm going to listen to both of them tomorrow. Yeah, it looks good.
They're short. They're not very long, so you just pound them out there. So I guess they're releasing it in
What
stages.
show are you talking about?
Yeah,
It's
Spotify.
Batman Unburied is the name of the podcast. Yeah.
It's got one of the voices in it is the captain, or not captain, the lieutenant from The Wire. He was also in Bosch. He's in Bosch as one of those, as the mayor, I think, or police chief in that. And there's another very recognized. I should know it.
Is it Winston Duke?
Yeah, Winston Duke. So it's produced. It's like, and it's a Spotify original. I just found it today. It just came out today. I just saw an ad for it. Checked it out. It's pretty cool. It's a way different take on how, like, it's a really unique angle. Also, go Canes. We're in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Taking my wife there tomorrow night for her early Mother's Day present. We're going to Plains Chaos game. So let's go up 2-0. Let's see a storm surge. And until next week, keep pounding. Cody, take us out of here.
Panther Nation, keep pounding.